Morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing good. Let's move this down a bit so you can see. Hope you are doing good. Hopefully you had a good afternoon session. If you traded FOMC, wasn't too much to trade there, a little bit of chop. But the big trade that we talked about all yesterday morning, setting up for that trap, that happened on the earnings report. Right into 4 o'clock, did exactly what we talked about, didn't it? So do me a favor, lots of you in here nice and early, smash that like button for me, and then I don't have to keep saying it through the stream. All right, so let's have a look on the daily chart. We're starting to get what we've talked about this week. You notice the Bollinger Bands, they are going to start expanding now. All right, so we had contracting Bollinger Bands for quite a while. The last few days we're starting to base up here is allowing expansion of the Bollinger Band, and you will also notice this 5-day moving average with this Bollinger Band starting to take effect. Doesn't guarantee a trend, but it just means, you know, there is a chance now that we're going to create some room for it to move upside. Ideally, I would like to see an inside day print a little bit longer into the end of the week and give this chance to really get moving. Right, yesterday we talked about flipping this was a red box, right, into potential demand with that poke up, a dip, a hold, and a drive out. We had it last night. What I would say so far, we've had a failed breakout. All right, failed breakout overnight, that is. All right, we're holding this, so technically we are still bullish in terms of structure. We are holding this. If we lose that and come under it, there is a deeper rotation like we always talk about. But until that point, you want to be very careful. We want to be considering that inside bar, how we might play out today, edge to edge. Probably unlikely to get too much of a bid outside of this because the bulls aren't extended enough yet. All right, so just understand what is likely to happen today. I would not be surprised to see an inside bar today. If we start losing 26,000, then we can think about this move into the 900s. If we lose 900s, then I would almost certainly say that this is a failed breakout then, and we are playing a rotation back down. Until that point, we're watching to see if this holds. We're going to get more clues about this as we move into the hourly chart. So let's do that now and pull this up just so you can see it a little bit better. All right, this is the current week's developing profile. All right, here's previous week. Value area high all the way down here. Current week developing profile. You can see this week we have been in a constant grind from the Sunday, right, Monday into Tuesday. That was the dip and rip that we played on Tuesday, into Wednesday, which was the dip and rip. And then yesterday we played that, you played that pullback short leg into this area, and we talked about the trap happening somewhere under here. Here was the trap. Underneath, reclaimed, and straight back up, right? We've now built liquidity. The problem is it did it, and when it ran out of time, it did it when no one was really at the desk, right? That was the earnings. There's the trap underneath with the dip and the rip, but it hasn't taken out this high. Now, can this be bullish rotation? Absolutely, it can, all right? It can be bullish rotation in here, but we are boxed in here, all right? The current week point of control over here, 26,100-ish, very, very key, as is previous day value area low. This area here is key for bulls to defend. If they defend it, they will be looking for a rotation back up to the previous day value area high. But you can see overnight, two attempts to get over it, not doing too well. We're building out lots of volume down here. So I would be watching this both ways on the tape today. I would be highly expecting a rotational kind of day, an inside kind of day, which means edges are more likely to play today than trends, and it means you're going to have to be careful with making sure you manage your positions, lock in those profits, see money, take money. So if we hold dips down into here this morning, there's probably a rotation TP1, TP2, maybe even TP3 if you get lucky, but it's also very possible, right, that we get stuck here and we come down this way and we do this. If we lose, right, if we lose a bid under here, we need to be careful that it doesn't come and revisit all the way down here. You can see where we're building out a cluster down here, down here, down here, down here. So I need to be willing to play the other side of the tape if we start to lose bids 26,100 and stay heavy. All right, so it's a big level. As we drift into this probably early morning, we're going to see sentiment either fake out and bid back up, or we're going to lose that bid and rotate. But this is your range being developed, right? You can quite clearly see that they are starting to settle in here. It is not a small range, 300 down to less than 100, so at least 200, 250 points. You do not want to be the wrong side of that range. All right, onto the 5 minute, and you can see the same thing we've talked about. There's the dip and rip. into that key level, dip and rip. There's the hold. There's the bid back up during Globex. London goes sideways, gets stuck, cannot take out these key levels up here. All right, so that is a failed break. Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and we're rotating back down towards this. Just depends if they re-dip it. Rotation and liquidity building stage of the market. If you're struggling with seeing that, all you have to do is go to the indicator right up here. What are we doing higher time frame? We are building liquidity. Lower time frame currently bearish, right? We're in a sell. But the higher time frame building liquidity. So understand that we're between the lower time frame algo and the higher time frame algo. You can see between these at the moment while it makes its decision. Overall, though, technically the market is still bullish overall for now, unless this becomes a failed breakout. All right, let's go through some of the other names. We can start off in the ES. Just have a quick look here. So all-time high break yesterday and trading back inside. We're not seeing follow through away from here, but so far still technically bullish. All the time we're holding sort of 78. All right, somewhere in here. All the time we're holding this, technically still bullish. We start to lose that. Certainly if we lose this, then that deeper rotation, all right, this will start to be sold off. So the bulls really need to hold this and start to get going. If they don't, you're going to see that collapse that we talked about yesterday. All right, they will need to see momentum at these highs. Remember, we've got Apple earnings tonight as well. If we go on a lower time frame, just see where we're at. We're opening up pretty much flat. All right, some very key pivots here. You can see all you need to look at ES is this right here. This is quite clearly a key level that we are still currently holding. All right, previous day low. And that's your rotation from the current high to previous day low. If you start getting weakness under there, that's where we can start seeing that bigger rotation. Right, let's have a look at the ETFs, make sure they're all lining up okay. We're starting the SPYs, we've just done ES, same kind of story there, and same kind of rotation. Let's zoom out here a little bit. Yeah, right into this nugget. This cluster here, still holding dips. Can it do this is the question today. And if it can't, then we're just going to build out the liquidity. I think we're probably going to build out liquidity today. That's what I think we are more likely to do. Qs, same story. All right, tapped through the highs yesterday in the pre-market, never able to get back up there to that all-time high, and just building out more of the same. Again, if we start to lose the bid here, it's very, very steep up this week. We think about from Sunday into Monday. What we think about from here, right? We're pretty steep up from this open. We can expect that move down here and still be okay. All right, so just be aware of that. Be aware of it. Let's have a look at the VIX. Starting to climb, isn't it? Still in this big channel that we've talked about. All right, still holding in these 16s. It's got previous day high 7. So we're watching 1720, 1738, and then yeah, 38 pivot might even get us up to 1950. Quite thin in there through that. So we need to be careful. We can also extend this out a little bit. Make sure this is accurate somewhere in here. There we go. All right, so we need to be careful. We're still in that channel, but we can see it's still bullish rotation on the VIX, right? Everyone's saying that this is like going to collapse. It hasn't. Bullish rotation, squeeze back into the channel, all right? So if this was a uptrending regression channel, we've squeezed out, pulled back, squeezed out, pulled back, squeezed out, pulled back. We haven't collapsed under this channel right now. I would still have some certain warning signs up about this. All right, very quickly, you're going to have to get through the mag now. Apple earnings, remember, earnings are tonight. Held that dip yesterday, like little fake out under reclaim. So want to see if Apple can get back up to these highs if they start bidding it up before earnings today. Do they position themselves before earnings, or is this going to be profit taking and they're expecting weak earnings? Softy earnings weren't too bad, but they sold off on the conference call because their guidance was a bit lower than expected. Everything else was good yesterday. The other dip on Apple will be down into these 50s. Right, Amazon gapping down into key level here. So big drive out yesterday, faded it, held the gap, and now is in kind of no man's land while it makes that decision into that pivot. Goog, nice drive up. There you go. Nice drive up into the earnings. Big peak out, holding gains well. So Goog right now, I mean, we can think about this, but we can also think about this up here as another level. So does Goog need a back test to make sure it stays firm? Meta, big earnings. Remember, I'm long Meta. This is starting to pay really well now. Anyone in Discord who took these longs, remember I'm long from down here, 88s. We were looking for this move back up towards this pivot. We've got it. That is a fantastic trade to sort of start this year from somewhere down here. I'll have to get my blotter up to see where I was, but I was long down here, and we're starting to really get motoring now. That's a massive trade. I'm very, very happy with that one. Gapping up, pretty extended into some key levels here on Meta. Want to be careful. This pivot here is what I'll be watching now, so we can set a price alert there to see if it can get through and have continuation. Microsoft Softy, like I said, sold off on the earnings call. Back down into its pivot. So the big question here on Softy, does it hold this? If it doesn't, and we start to get weak, you'll see this market start to rotate. But that's kind of the only one right now seeing a lot of weakness. Nvidia trying to hold its gains, opening up flat again. All dips into 90s. If those keep holding, Nvidia's okay. Tesla, still in this choppy rotation. If you're trading Tesla, you're probably not having too much fun right now, I would say. Here is where it's boxed in, right here, for the whole of this year so far. Rotation, 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 rotation. All right, it's just boxed in. We can have a quick look at some of the broader names. Oracle still dropping down. I'm starting to get more and more interested in that. If we can come down into here, it is of interest. And Netflix, still long in this, just a tiny, tiny piece on. Right, still think that we've got a chance to flush lower. So just want to see if we retest lower and what happens down there if we trap some shorts. AMD starting to get boxed in here. You can see the levels where I've drawn it in. Fell breakouts, fell breakouts, fell breakouts, fell breakdown, fell breakdown, fell breakdown, rotation. That is pretty much it, folks. That's pretty much going to cover us. Not much else I want to look at today, I don't think. We can have a quick look at the 10-year. Starting to get going. That looks very dangerous. Remember, we talked about the breakout above this for the last year or so. We based above it. Now we're breaking out above this. This is not good for the market. I'll tell you, it's really not good for the market. I guess the last thing we should look at is the Dixie, which is probably still selling off. Yeah, still got a chance to break down lower. Is gold still pushing? Yep, still basing on gold. So if you're trading gold today, you're just basically watching this box, all right? And if you start to lose that, you know what's going to happen. Otherwise, it's still bullish. Silver still going. There's the same story here. Those are your pivots. It's still holding until you see a backside. Remember, we've talked about this. We haven't seen backside in silver. Everyone's too keen to get the short. It will be a crowded trade, that. All right, the more shorts that pile into that, it's starting to feel like a small cap. The higher it's going to go as they get themselves caught. All right, a couple minutes left here to the open. Move that from yesterday. There we go. It's a little bigger for you all. All right, so starting to lose this bid at PDC. Anyone who took the short up here was really nice. Into VWAP and the lower time frame algo, protecting previous day value area high. Any of these, maybe some of you took this short. I think a couple of you in Discord did. This is looking really good, right? And if you can get the full rotation to value area low, you're going to be a very, very happy trader this morning. That's a good move, really good move to start the day. Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm never going to be able to get through all the good mornings anymore like we used to do, so I'm sorry about that. There's so many in here now, which is fantastic. But I hope you're all doing good. What about US 100? US 100 is the same as NQ, so it's exactly the same. There's no difference. You're just trading CFD for it. All right. Let me get my chart sorted out here. So we've got some support structure down here at previous day value area low. We can see we actually get thicker from, where's that edge? Yeah, sort of 98 down into, let me have a look at this. Is there an old naked point of control down here? There might well be. Yes, there is. Yeah, 98 down to 90s and even 72. So 98 down to 90. Yeah, in here we get a bit thicker. So I wonder if they can come and test that today. But yeah, neutral bias today. Overall, we're technically bullish, but we are opening up an inside bar, inside value. All right, inside bar, inside value, more likely to see rotation. The only thing I've got my eye on is VIX. What are the indicators on the bottom of the chart? This is delta, and the bottom one's volume. Volume and delta. All right, folks, good luck here. 40 seconds left. Make sure you've gone through your morning prep. Make sure you're fit and able to trade, all that good stuff. Right, don't be taking a trade if you're on tilt. You've got what I call carryover tilt from yesterday or anything like that. just take the day off or just sit here and learn. Don't be risking capital if you're not fit and able to trade. Make sure the market conditions are something that you like. At the moment, for me, they're not. They're not my favorite trade, but we will see if we flush down and hold, or if we flush down and stay heavy, if there's a bigger rotation that's going to take place. All right, 5 seconds here, folks. Let's see what we can get. So into value area low to start the day by the looks of it. Mag a mixed bag right now. The big loser, Microsoft, 8.46% down. So protecting in front of value area low, back to previous day point of control. If they go through point of control, we can look maybe for the rotation to value area high. So this is the rotation today, here to here, and just outside of it, and just outside of it to the underside. Like we said, inside bar, inside value. Rotational day today. Until it proves otherwise, right? That can change. That sentiment can change. I've just said a million times, it's a neutral bias today. We are an inside bar. We're in rotation. It's probably more likely that edges are going to pay as we build out liquidity, unless we start to see the offers start to print underneath the key levels or bids start to print over the key levels. I'd be neutral. Give you a readout on the MAG. Tesla 1.45% up. Nvidia 0.06% up, so basically flat. Microsoft still bleeding, 9.33% down. That might very well go SSR if it keeps bleeding. Meta over 10% up. Google 1.66% up. Amazon 0.23% up. Apple 1% up. Natron is mean. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Glad that video helped you. All right, so the rotation's still in effect this morning. New York Open, straight up to previous day point of control. Can't get through it. Back down to New York Open. That's already happened twice. And if they keep failing, they're going to come back down for value. All right, this is just the rotation. It's where we are. So probably going to try and attack value right now as we start drifting lower. Here you go. Here's the move to value. So in this short, trimming some into value now as we start to lose this. And we're just in a runner now from New York. And if we reprint it, we go back upside, I'll cut the rest out. But just in here to value, trim some. If we get down into here, lovely bonus, but we don't expect that. It's a nice bonus if we do. But 2 failures at previous day point of control said enough for me to just have a little scalp down there. Okay, up towards a VWAP again and see if they get stuck here. Microsoft now SSR, I think. I'm assuming it has gone 10% because I just saw it at 9.98%. So I'm assuming they didn't save that. 9.97 again. So I'm going to assume Microsoft would be SSR now. So for tomorrow, there might be a bid on Microsoft as they fail to sell it, I would imagine. Right, Q's coming into their block, which they keep defending. Still in this with a runner. All the time we're rejecting New York Open. Still in this with a runner to see if we move lower. But already locking in. No matter what here, locking in. Will not hold it above sort of 44s. Nice. Here we go. See if we can get this runner to go for us. Here we go, folks. Beautiful. So still protecting that New York Open blue line. If we get follow through under previous day value, we're looking for these blue boxes. Previous day high, Globex. And if we get really lucky, down into this. But just don't be adding too late. We're positioned for this in case it wants to do it. Well, our expectation is a rotation. It very well might be that they want to bid at previous day value area low. I would like to see them bid down here or down here because I'm in the short already. Watching the tape to see if we can see some follow through here. Nice. Some sellers keep getting caught down here in the 10s, so we need follow through underneath that right now. Otherwise, they're going to get themselves caught. Move my stop down a little bit here. VPOC now at 22s. Really nice. Here we go, folks. Into these next TP areas. Let's get some volume on here. Really good. Fantastic. Here's our trade locking in money here. And we will hold runners now just in case we get down to this grey area. Beautiful. Nice win to start the day. So 2 failures into previous day point of control. We lost the New York. We trade down to value and we see how deep we can go now. Very, very, very nice. Yeah, and Microsoft getting absolutely crushed here like expected. So now SSR over 10% down. that thing's in big, big trouble. All right, into these 150s. So coming in towards the edge of range, make sure you're zooming out. Remember, this is point of control on the developing weekly profile where we are now. This right here is point of control on the developing weekly profile. It's a big level that bulls will want to defend. If we stay heavy under here and they fail to defend it, I will be looking to trade all the way down to 25s and possibly down to that 26,000. But I expect this to be a very heavily contested level right now. Yeah, if you're in this short with me, you should have locked a good chunk in. W's in chat for me. And let's see how low we can fucking go. Here we go, baby. What a nice one to start the day. Come on, come on. Let's come all the way down. Let's be very kind. So I would start moving your stop down aggressively because we are being aggressive on the tape here and the bounce back will be violent if and when they do it. Gap now filled on the ES, gap now filled on the SPY as well, so just be aware of that. We have an efficient market. We are obviously well below the gap on the Qs. VIX is absolutely ripping through that 22 level, 1722s or 1718s that we talked about pre-market. We are still in this short. We're still looking for more, but we are now managing our runners, all right, watching this blue box. If they can start turning this into resistance, if we think about what this is a huge level on the weekly profile. If we start losing this on the developing weekly profile, if we build into this and lose it, I'm looking for this. It might not even give us a chance to get any more on. It might just slide all the way down at the moment. Really good. Really nice. What an absolute perler. What a beautiful day. All right, grey box is your next cover, then the green line. Short from here. See if we get grey box, which we just got. And underneath grey box, we'll look for this, right? If we go all the way down, we'll look for this. But these are big cover points. Beautiful. So you should be locking in some good chunk of change into here, guys. This is about a 100-point trade already. And this is about the 5th day in a row, giving you a 100-pointer. Let's see if we lose this grey box and we can really get motoring. And we are going to use this as an over-under now, all right? This might be a key level. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at very heavy tape. This is what we like to see. Heavy tape once we lost this. Coming down into this big whole number of 26,000. Still heavy tape. We're going to get this previous day low, this wick hopefully from overnight where they dipped and ripped. So just be careful down here. You do not want much size after this. Beautiful. It's still bidding down at 75, so I wonder if we can get a flush beyond this. Really, it needs a pullback at some point. We're very extended from the flow zones now, so just be careful. You might want to manage your position. You might not want to sit through this pullback because it might be violent back up to this red line up here. So if you want to take it all off now, you can. You absolutely could take it all off. That's a big trade. It's well over 100 points for you to start the day, and we're, what, 7 minutes into the day, and you've just had a 100-point banger. You are welcome. You are welcome. VIX absolutely ripping. So VIX into its next pivot in towards these 1744s all the way up to 1760s. So it might get stuck there, the VIX. Here comes the pullback. So if you want to get out of this now, you can. I still think we have a chance to move lower, but certainly some shorts came in under 22, but I'm expecting a pullback and then see if they resell it in towards that red box would be ideal. Still defending 50s. I would actually like them to lift this up all the way up here and defend it up there if I'm going to add on for a second trade here, but we will see. They're still bidding down at 26,000 below. Here comes the lift. Can they lift this a bit higher? I'm not going to play this long. I want to see them lift it higher and see if we hold this now. Right, if we hold this. Now we've moved outside of previous day's value. This is current week's point of control. I want to see if sellers are willing to defend that. If we scream through that, then we're going to go on a squeeze. But right now, I'm wanting to see, right, are sellers willing to defend up here? They can defend in front of it. You can see this shelf here, but I'm wondering if we just let this through and then redefend it. We're also watching ES and SPY into the PDC, right? SPY already there, ES almost there, right? So they flushed under. I'm interested, do they defend PDC? SPY now starting to reclaim it. So can this have a shove up is what I'm thinking now. If I'm going to reshort, I want to see a shove up and then stay heavy. We are developing nodes down here now. Remember, this was the area that they dipped and ripped last night. This was the area where we were looking for that trap last night, right? And it looks like they're defending early here. We might get follow through further. Yeah, we're coming down for that previous day low now. Shorts definitely keep getting stuck in and around 10s now. Oh, I really want them to lift this for me. Yeah, lots of you locking good money in there. 5,500. That's great money. Nice way to start the day. Alex is the best on YouTube. Thank you. That's very kind. Stuck in a range? Well, we will see, won't we? We will see. Like we talked about, we were inside bars, but that inside bar finishes at this green line, right? So the daily inside bar finishes here. We are moving outside of value. Previous day value area low now being left. So if we come back up here and fade it, I expect lower. Here and fade it, I expect lower. We need to be careful of traps in this area, but right now the tape is heavy. This is the edge of the inside bar, and this is down here is current week value area low, and we have liquidity down here, the 900s, if they really want to do it. Here comes. So coming into previous day value, previous day low, this is your next cover point. Do not be a dick for a tick, please. If I come to Italy, you'll take me for dinner. Oh, thank you. Sounds good. $475 times 10. There you go. That's a nice winning day, isn't it? $4,750. Nice work. All right, previous day low here. This is your TP, and then through this, we're looking down here if we get follow through. But this is the edge of the inside bar. All right, think about on the daily. This is the daily low. If there's follow through under here, we will be looking for, well, actually down here into this blue box, really, into sort of 920s. Here we go. So tiny size left now. I'm basically out of all of it. And we'll see if we get all the way down here now. So the next target is down into this blue box, right? This is the edge of current week value, but there is actually a big node down in this blue level. So if I zoom you out, I can show you why and what I'm looking at. It comes from the higher time frames, comes from this hourly, right? We just let go of this node. We traded to this node. We let go of this node. We're trading down towards here now, right? You can see this, all right? So this is thin. We're repricing the thin. They might very well bid off there. We don't know, right? We don't know. We're just playing this trade right here, right now for this reason. And then we can deal with what's next once we get there. All right, so dip and rips so far is what they're attempting to do. I'm not convinced yet. This grey box is key. Relief over the grey box. We'll go to red box. And we're trading back down to that 5-day on the ES as well. Globex hanging out underneath now. So 5-day on ES. And previous day low on the spiders. And VIX now at that next key pivot, 1760. So anyone who joined me in the pre-market, we talked about these pivots coming up on the VIX. All right, we're trading into this next key pivot now. We've ripped through this. We're coming in towards that next block and the top of the trend. Okay, we're coming into the top of that trend. All right, we might well get this move. We might well get this move, guys. We're almost there. I guess you could target down here if you really wanted to. It's quite a lot without a pullback. SPY now through previous day low into its 5-day. ES through the 5-day into Globex, previous day low, still low hanging fruit for ES. VIX is motoring. Like we talked about pre-market, everyone talking about VIX being bearish. It ain't. It was still holding its channel. I had a strong sneaking suspicion we would have the ability to do this today if we left the range, which we did. Still a heavy tape. All of the mag other than Meta getting absolutely crushed. Very heavy. Here we go, guys. This is the edge of current week's developing profile. So this is value area low on the current week. This is the final TP for me. If we got down in here, it would have to be on a flush. I'm going to take everything off into here most likely because I'm expecting a rebid. So we're coming into it now. Previous day low here on ES. I'd like to see just one more little swipe if possible. Just a little dig down in towards the 910s or something. Watching the tape here. Yeah, we've got liquidity under 900. So I'd really like to see one little swipe. I don't want to be a dick here. The opening range is very, very big. We're already at 250 points of that opening range, first 15 minutes. Here we go. They're starting to try and find a bid into this. So this big key level, starting to bid off it right now. You're welcome to take it all off if you want here. I'm going to try and hold to see if I can get to 900s, but I don't really want it to lift. Come on. Come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Just do it. Just complete it. I don't want to sit through a pullback. Be very careful of this auction down here. Right into my key levels. Come on, baby. Yep, done. There we go. Done. Out. Thank you. Thank you for playing. Thank you for playing. That is an absolute monster. That is a 214-point trade to start stream today. There we've had 100-point plus yesterday. Going back to bed. See you guys later. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. It's 6:46 in the morning for me. That is a lovely way to start the day. Do I ever tell you when I entered? I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I told you. All right, looking for this now, short side if we're staying heavy on the tape. And we planned it out pre-market, especially once we lost value. There was only one entry for me up here. We never retested a key level. So I will re-enter now. If you're looking for a re-entry, I will think about a re-enter somewhere in here. All right, if I see bulls get trapped, I will think about that play there. It was quick. It was quick today, yeah. I mean, I don't get to choose how quick it is, guys. I can only watch the tape. The moment, I kept telling you, look, the rotation is happening from previous day value area low into point of control. They kept getting stuck. And once they let go, it was like, okay, we can't get through the New York Open. We're going to trade down. And I positioned for that trade down. So here's the squeeze back up. Why? Because we hit the key level. We are likely to come and retest this grey box now. And point of control on the current day is in that grey box, right? So the relief is back upside to here, and there might be a reshort opportunity as we come into this. We will have to see if buyers get stuck or if they're going to do a full reversal. So this is also a big level for me. This grey box and then above it, right? So you can see the importance of covering into key levels, not being greedy. Must cover into key levels. Like them just to lift this a little bit higher and see if it offers a reshort here. So if we trap buys here or the red box, I will think about the trade back down. My expectations will be lowered now because we've done the main move. So I will think about only if I see buyers trapped, all right, this kind of move down into here now. All right, if we trap buyers, if we trap them up here, I'll look for the same move, but I'll be looking for something like this if we start to trap buyers up here. Or at least expect that pullback move. This shelf here, you can see VPOC. We're just trading VPOC, previous day low, trying to be reclaimed here. Watching the tape to see if they start trapping buys soon. Like one more little shove up would be most ideal. Looking pretty good here into these 26,000. So I would like a little lift up towards 30s. Value area high on the day 50s. That would be ideal. Watching these 26,000s. I would like a lift up first if possible, but we'll position. Here we go. Starting to see some weakness come in here. We might get this move now. Might not even make it, which will be annoying. Would rather size up higher. Would like one leg up higher first, but this might be it, folks. Yep, okay. So trading this back downside at the moment. Taking some partials into some of these imbalances. We have imbalances down into 61s, which we're coming into now. Trimming some here, and then we'll hold some to see if we can go low of day. Through the next imbalance, 50s, and then there's one down into sort of 35s. Paying myself on this because we don't know if they rebid off this, right? We don't know. Sellers got stuck down here. We don't know if they rebid off this. So the trade is from here to here. I would have loved it from here to here, but the trade is from here to here. If they rebid this, they can do second leg up, and we can think about the same thing up there again. There we go, out of this already. Just filling those imbalances on the way down. Right, so we can make sense for you on here. What I was looking at in here. See these imbalances, all these green blocks, these imbalances. So once these buyers got caught, and these buyers got caught, we used their pain to trade into here, and we defended this. So I'm all out. It might now flush back down without me, possibly. But that was the trade from here to here. Let's see if they have follow through for you guys. I'm out of it already. Didn't sit through that. All right, while you guys just figure this out, let me just get my bottle of water. I've left it next door. So all those imbalances now filled. Back into value area low for the developing week. Remember this blue cluster, this blue box underneath that is a very thick cluster that we've developed this week. This is a very thick cluster, and previous week value area high is here. Maybe they give you follow through. I might have taken that too early. The volume profile right now, where's it anchored to? Today's open, 9:30 open. How can you see the imbalances with just volume profile and CVD? You can't see them with just that. You would need footprint, which is what I'm using. Right, so it's on here, but it's on the screen I'm trading. Remember, I'm executing on NinjaTrader, folks. I have footprint on my NinjaTrader. Here comes follow through. Heavy delta. Right, this is where sellers got stuck this morning into these 30s. So from 30s down to the edge of auction into 10s is where they get stuck. If you get follow through under here now, you can see this little shelf. If you get follow through under here, I'll be watching this low to get snapped. See if you can run into the edge of this. This is the thick level, I'd say, into sort of 85s. And if you get follow through under that, well, you might well come all the way down to previous week value. So having a good bloody go at it. And there you go. More sellers got caught there at 10s. Just be aware of that. They came in very heavy there at 10s. So that you have got breakout sellers at the low of day right now. Just be aware of that. There's some absorption on the tape happening, but I think you're going to get the 85s-ish because they keep adding bids down there lower right now. May I please know the key level it turned from? This is it's the current week volume. There's a big cluster down there. If you build out, if you look at the profile from the Sunday open all the way to today, you will see a big cluster, which is this blue box, right? If that's what you're thinking about. If you're thinking about the sell point, well, we sold through current week point of control, right? Developing point of control and the current and the cluster above at 160. The other thing to note, we've had many P-shaped profiles this week without much of a rebalance. Okay, blue box, key level. Key level. Q's also holding a key level. VIX holding around a high of day right now. I'd say next level for VIX to trade up to will be those 19s all the way up to sort of 1950s, 1958s. We've got to see if it rebids on the VIX because it's been quite spicy this morning. You've got to expect a pullback on the VIX and see if they rebid those sort of 1750s. Right, starting to build out a bit of a range here now while they start to build out liquidity. Remember, we've had a 250 odd point move downside today. There wasn't that much of a squeeze back up. Right, we didn't even hit this level here. They're building out liquidity. They will want to trap more buyers in if they are to come lower for today. And obviously they will want to trap more shorts in if they are to have a squeeze out higher. So your easy money to trade for the day has absolutely gone. It came very early, very, very early. I'm definitely not looking for a buy or sell now. I just heard you say that you were short and was curious. It was during development of M1 candle. No, it was once these guys had got caught, right? I kept saying I'll be looking for buyers to get caught. They got caught, I traded short. That was it. It was a pullback because after we've had a big move down, right, we expect a pullback. The pullback came into previous day's low, into a node. I would have preferred it higher, but I didn't get it higher because they got stuck here. So I played that short and I covered into this because my expectation was that shorts probably get stuck here. I don't care about if the candle's developing or any of that bollocks, like candle closure. I'm not at a level where I need to give a shit about that. I care about who's trapped. If they're trapped in 1 second, I'm going to play their pain straight away. I don't need that candle to close. And the moment we move away from someone trapped, I'm in. Yeah, smash that like button for me, folks. What settings for the order flow? There's a free video on my YouTube. I put it out last week. Yeah, all the settings that I use are on there. But it comes down to personal preference. So I just look at delta. All I care about is delta. Right, still rejecting this here. This is your over-under for sentiment for right now in the immediate future. This is your over-under where we've just moved point of control to. All right, buyers will want to squeeze above that to the top side of this range, possibly even up here. You can see value for the day has moved down quite significantly towards my grey box, down towards here. All right, that is now your value. This will be a big old B shape. All right, so this might signal the end of the upside auction because we've gone from P shape to B shape at the moment, assuming we close in a B shape, that is. You were all long right today. Good job. All long. I'm not sure what you mean. What determines trap signs? Offside delta. Offside delta at key levels. Just want to just see if they're adding bids lower right now. Yeah, 85 still there, 70 there, thick level at 50, thick level at 40. They're bidding so much lower here. And there's a lot more weakness possibly to come in this market now. Oh, that might have been a really poor cover point here. Kind of crazy, isn't it? You get 250 points and you're like, oh, I think I could have get 400. Okay, 20-day coming up for the ES. SPY not too far away. It would have to trade 90s for that 20-day. Next level's down here, previous week value area high. So this node here is pretty big. If we lose that, you'll kind of come straight down into here. And this is the weekly close, is it? I'm pretty sure. Previous week close, yeah. So that would be gap fill into the previous week. That would be giving back the whole week. It's very possible. Big sell there. We haven't had a big day like this for a while. It's nice. Maybe we have another leg up. Well, we will have to see. We are pulling back to potential RBS levels, but it's really going to depend. Can it hold, 830s? If it can't hold 830s, then I'd expect we will trade 700s today, and it will need to hold that on a dip, because if it does not hold that on a dip, like I've talked about numerous times, if this becomes a giant failed breakout this week, then we have a lot of pain coming in for this market. So if we don't hold this, we will trade 700s. This will be another cover point here for most people. Nice, Greg. Glad it helped. Yeah, flow's still very bearish. Big sellers coming in down here. Just watch this delta here. Still follow through. They're looking for value area high now. This is previous week high. Previous week value area high was your next cover point. Into 30s. Kicking myself now that I'm not in this. Here we go. Very big follow through. Probably all the way down into here now, because we're thin down into this. Oh my days. Oh my days. Gonna kick myself. Can tell, already tell I'm gonna be kicking myself. Oh, this short that we took here could have held it through. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Right, back to previous week. Value area high. See if they defend this now and come down into this blue box. I'll tell you what, if buyers can't defend this, it is good night market. Heavy, 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 heavy take. Previous week close is 38, 738s. Previous week close is 738s. This box here, and previous week point of control is 690. So in here, buyers must defend this. Higher time frame, buyers must defend that, or it's good night. Good night market. Okay, so my two trades today were that first one and this one. That is a shame, isn't it, Alex? You fucking idiot. Should have just held through it. Just let it figure itself out. Anyway, is what it is. Looks like we're going to go for a previous week close here on the ES as well. VIX still going, absolutely ripping faces right now on the VIX. Have I considered a volume profile mentorship? I mean, there's a course on my website. You can buy the courses on my website, and it's everything you need is in there. There's no one-on-ones if that's what you mean. I don't have time to do one-on-ones. Right, VIX coming up to that 19s. Heavy, heavy, heavy tape. Down here is my expectation. Cluster now built at that 800. So 800 will probably be 800 and 815 will be a squeeze trigger higher. Just for the counter trend, little push out back, and then they will probably try and resell it down to the lows. Just so you know, these nodes here can be squeeze trigger highs. I expect them to try and defend here. Definitely, certainly to defend up here. But if you're in this short, just make sure, you don't want to be adding down here. You want to be moving your stop to protect some of this, looking for this fade, paying yourself into some of these levels. I would not be adding short now at these lows. You're getting very close to your cover points. Here comes previous week close coming up now. Grey line on your screen, blue box underneath. And I would imagine they will want to trim down there. Do I have a video identifying trap buyers and sellers? Yeah, it's all on my course. You will have to do the course. Volume profile and order flow course. I would advise that you do stuff for free on my YouTube first, then do the 20-hour course, and then do the volume profile and order flow course, so that you understand structure, how the market moves, why it moves, all those good things. High volume node at 700. Yeah, exactly. So it's 696 basically is previous week's point of control, and it's the weeks before that value area low. All right, so it's multiple things down there. Multiple things down there. Back to this node at 800 that we just talked about. This is your key level, 800 and 815. If they get through that, you will see squeeze relief. So back towards this 800 like we just talked about. If you get through that in 815, you might get squeeze relief up to value area low. The big sellers came in at 850, just so you know that. The big sellers, they came in at way up at 850. We have imbalances all the way up there. There it goes. Here's the squeeze relief. So 800 to 815 now. If they get through 815, we can viably see 850 here for squeeze relief. So if you were short, you probably don't want to sit through what might be potentially coming here if we get through the 15s. Oh, but how did Alex know? Because I'm reading the order flow. I understand where we're moving and how. Right, into value area low. This area here is the area sellers must defend now. They fail to defend this. This is the big relief. If sellers defend this, they will have one more go at coming back down. That's why I'm saying you do not want to be short down here. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really have any good trading mentors. I just didn't. My trading mentors probably taught me 90% of what I learned was the worst thing to learn. Okay, so defending 15s and 20s into that imbalance, back down to the 800s. Buy side imbalance here at 80. I would say a big buyer stepped in at 70. And we do have a decent auction at that low. It's not huge excess. We haven't quite closed the gap. Tell you what, ES did. ES did close its gap. All right, so ES did tag. I might have missed it by a tick. Let's have a look. Previous week close on ES was 945.75. We hit 94. Oh, we didn't close it. We hit 947. So we were a couple points short. Still think they want to try and get into it, but we will see. Starting to get tight here on the tape. 10s to 85 is starting to get tight. It's probably one way or another is going to get caught. Just watching this liquidity build out very, very tight on the tape here. Still think there's a flush in this just to come and run everyone out, but we will see. What can I say about the psychology of wanting to go long from here? Why do people feel that urge? Because they think it's gone down so far, it can't go down any further. So your natural instinct is to try and buy it back up. Or a lot of people's natural instinct is to try and buy it back up. I'd be very careful if they get acceptance through here of this, back up into that. There we go, back to the 15s again. We can see this rotation to the 15s, previous week value area high here. They go through this, they will get a relief because this is very, very thin. Sellers will want to defend this level here. They will not want this going through here because they will get run out fairly aggressively, potentially up towards 900. So they will attempt to defend this. Nice. How much more juice has it got? A good defender 15s or 20s, but there or thereabouts. This edge, you can see this edge right here. We're building out profile now. We're building out volume into here. It's a little messy how they've done it twice, but that's what they've done. Right, sentiment is still lower until they can get above that. And this is still the target. Big buyer came in at 70 earlier today. All right, that's where the huge buyer came in at, what time was this? 10:04. They are still adding liquidity lower. We still haven't quite filled that gap, so it's almost there. There we go. They're going to try and get through these 70s. 70 is the key level. That's where the big buyer came in. Just want to see if he turns up again. There's lots of bids here. We're going to trade through him. We go. There's the 70s through him now. They're adding at 45, so we're going to snap hit. We should trade low of day here and get to previous week close. Can I talk about this relative to flow zones? Well, the flow zones are in bearish, aren't they? What are the flow zones doing? Thick, bearish price. Every time we come up, we're rejecting. Come up, rejecting. Come up, rejecting. Price is still bearish. Look at the flow zones. It's telling you it's bearish. No reason to go long, right? What are we doing up here? Multi-trend bearish. Right, we were in liquidity building phase before the market opened. Once we let go of that liquidity, it was good night. All right, the market's so close to filling its gap, just can't quite do it. We're at the 20-day on the QQQ, which keeps finding a bid. We are under the 20-day on the SP on the ES. Sorry, we're at the 20-day on the SPY. We're not the 20-day on the QQQ, and ES keeps finding a bid right in front of that previous week close. This grey line here would be nice to see that filled, but it's not filling it right now. So back to the top side again, and relief can happen over here, like we talked about, if they can bully their way through back through previous week value area high. So they will need to try and bid over this, and if they can't, then all we're saying is we're in the previous week's value, and that rotation can take place in previous week's value. Or all the levels, all the horizontal line, not the value levels, but everything else, previous week close, like all the open high lows and closes of the weekly and daily candles, all the Globex levels, all the opening range and the initial balance are all on there, yeah. Okay, stuck at previous week value area high again. No acceptance through. Back down to VPOC, which is now trading around the 800. Like to get another trade here. Just don't think it's going to give it to me. I'd like to see it flush lower, rinse everyone out, and then see if it traps. Don't really want it to do the same as yesterday and not flush everyone out. Would want to see everyone flushed out, really. What for a long rotation? If I was going to look for a long rotation, I would want to see this happen first, wash these guys out, then reclaim this, and then offer that rotation back up. Not until then. Very much like yesterday. Like if it does this and just does this, I'm not going to touch it. I don't think the auction's finished yet. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. Lower, 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 lower. Come on. Into these imbalances. 70s again. We keep talking about this 70 guy. Through him, we should go to previous week close now. We got to stay under 70. We should go to previous week close. Come on, Bookmap. Wakey, wakey. Big sellers keep coming in at their lows. They're trying to get us down to that previous week close. They're desperate. Come on. One snap down to 40s will do it. Here we go. Here we go. 60s. Price has to stay under 70 now. Here we go. Come on. Watching ES because it's about to do the same move and close its gap. Here we go, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, baby. Beautiful. All right, job done. So I just took this from here to here once I saw them trapped. And out of that, just a scalp. last level here, if you're going to hold, is into the 690s. But I would imagine down here they will try and trap sellers now. If I was them, I would try and trap sellers now. If they let go of this, well, fuck me, it is good night, sweetheart. It's all the way down into this. So I'd imagine you'll see some sellers try and get caught down. All right, job done. Job done. So last trade, it was a small trade for me. I didn't want to trade this side, but once we built, you can just think about it as a flag, can't you? Once we build this liquidity, once we keep getting them stuck above 15s, then there becomes the opportunity for the low-hanging fruit to manage this position here into here. Nice and tight stop. Job done. I'm not holding runners beyond that now. I might be stupid like earlier and regret not holding runners, but for me, that is enough. All right, that's a 60-odd point trade. Here was a 40-point trade, and that was a 214-point trade. So we're over 300 points for the day, and we're into the area where I think they will want to defend it, there or thereabouts. I'm probably done with the shorts now. I'm not interested in any more shorts. Not interested in any more shorts. Unless we bleed underneath previous week point of control. If they're absolutely adamant on bleeding under that, I'll show you what I'm looking at. If we're going to do that, I don't think we will do that, but can't rule it out. If we are going to bleed underneath this node, right, this is quite thick, so you've got to be somewhat careful, then this opens up, right? So here, bid, bid, bid. We think about this trend line, bid, 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 failed to move higher, failed to move higher, 2 failed breakouts. Once we lose that, trap buyers and snap, right? And what is the breakout point? It's here, right? That was where we broke out from. This is the pullback in. We can probably bid up from here back towards 26,000 now, either today or tomorrow. All right, even if it's going to be resold, we can probably see something like that, or we can see something like this, right? But I'd imagine somewhere around here, they will try and bid back up to this node, which is why I don't want to be short anymore now. That is it, done with the shorts. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. Like we talk about those higher time frame. What is the pullback leg? Where does it go to? How do we position ourselves for the next move? Now I'm projecting along, are you saying? I'm imagining that it might take some time to develop. It doesn't have to happen to develop today, but I would imagine somewhere in here, all right, it doesn't have to happen today. They might want to dip below and come and do this tomorrow, but I imagine there's a retest back towards here. Again, that's going to happen at some point. Where's 26,000? Towards here, all right? So I'd imagine this happens. It doesn't have to happen today, all right? Unless they're going to do this and really come down into here, which would be a very big ask. I would imagine there is a relief leg back up higher now. And then once it gets up there, if it goes sideways, we build out liquidity to go high. If it comes up and they reject it and trap buyers, then it will be the lower high to go lower. So try and make this make sense for you. We don't know, all right, if this has been the trend. Let's just think about it. This is the trend since last week. Boxed in. Breakout, retest, up, 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 up. Here's the trap, fail to break higher, lose this, that's the snap, right? This is what we played this morning. We're in this, back down to this area. Our expectation is we're not going to keep going down. We don't think it might, but normally you would expect what? A pullback leg, which is probably going to go to where? Well, either here or here. Now, once we get there, we don't know at that point, right? If we're going to go sideways to build the inverse head and shoulder to go higher, or is this the first lower high set, leaving trap buyers to go lower? We will make that decision next week probably, but my expectation is we will drift back up. That blue box coming in pretty good so far. All right, so starting to see that squeeze back up, starting already. And the big buyers came in at 800. So if we get through 800s, there's more upside here. You'd imagine they're trying to protect in front of 800s. Hopefully this makes sense to you all, like you, especially you guys who are new, why we're trading and how we're trading, like why we're trading, what direction we're trading in, I guess is a better way of saying it, why, what our expectations is, why I'm done with the shorts now, why, for me, low-hanging fruit has gone. We always talk about trading the low-hanging fruit. My expectation now is probably going to be shorts will likely get trapped near the lows, and we will probably see relief back upside to some sort. It might not be today. Like I said, this grey box is a big area. Previous week's value area high is a big area. But I can tell you what, if we get through this and shorts get caught down here, this is probably going to happen. All right, so let's just look at the low of day auction and see how we actually look down there. Is it a good auction low? It's not the best, to be honest. That's not that good. Good selling in here, but I don't want to see buyers at the lows, so it might not be done yet, but we will see. The last 2 days has been a bit of a messy auction at the lows. Guys, there's well over 1,100 of you watching right now, which is fantastic. Stream's growing great. You guys are making serious money. Can you please just hit the like button for me? Please. Right? It doesn't cost a thing. Absolutely nothing. I'm here trading for free, giving out education and some big trades for you guys. Okay, I didn't get all of that. I'm sorry. My bad. But we got the first leg. Should have held for second leg. And now I'm kind of done with it. So just smash that like button for me. So here's the lift up. So if you want to play the counter trend, you can think about this now. Maybe you got long from the blue box. If you see the market start to base over here, then you'll probably get this relief up here. All right, so maybe you go long from here to here. If you see it base, maybe you get this leg up here. If you want to play the counter trend leg, that's what I would be looking for. And just remember, you haven't flipped the flow zones or anything like that yet, and you're not over previous week value. But this is a nice squeeze from blue to grey, and you might well, if they can base here, you might well get a pop through sort of 30s all the way up into 900s. It's very possible for that counter trend leg. All depends if short's willing to defend here or if they want to defend up here. Is the indicator fixed on the right of screen the session volume profile? No, it's anchored volume profile. Anchored volume profile. What is the red box next to the New York VWAP? It's just like a supply channel that I've got, right? It's old point of control. It's current week value area low, developing week, and it's point of control from the week of Monday, the 12th of Jan. So it's a big level. You can see we reacted off that level, right? It was demand. We reacted off it. It was blue. We snapped through. I now know that this can potentially be supply. So if we get relief, it can be into this. This is an old POC, and it's been thickened up from today as well. And it's also, this is current week, developing week value area low. So lots of confluence up there. It seems price always looks for point of control. Am I right? Yeah, especially when it's naked. But yeah, obviously point of control, you just got to think what point of control is. Point of control is fair value. All right, why is it fair value? Because it's the most traded price by both buyers and sellers. So if buyers and sellers agree on price, it's going to spend the most amount of time and build the most amount of volume up there, which means it will be the point of control on the day. So if they agree on price, which currently they agree that this is fair price. Now, if buyers decide shortly that this is too cheap, we will try and auction higher. If sellers decide this is too expensive, we will try and auction lower, right? I'd imagine they will try and get through here and do this move like I talked about. But you have to see if they build out the liquidity to do it, because they will need what to do it? They will need sellers stuck, who then become buyers, who then offer this, and then probably see a rejection from there back down if they're able to do it. I'm not going to trade the counter trend. I've made my money today, like we talk about. Low hanging fruit's gone, but I will sit here and help you guys as much as I can. What's my win rate? 100%. No, it's not 100%. I'm joking. It's normally around 66 to 73%. But what I will tell you with that, which I'm very honest about, lots of those will be like break even +1. So they won't always be like today. Right, if you were here last week, I think it was last week, you would have seen me 3 days in a row get knocked out break even and missing 100 to 200 point trades 3 days in a row. But those will all show as positive trades on my blotter, but they're positive by like 5-10 points. They don't fucking mean shit. Do you know what I mean? Pardon my French, but they don't. So win rate, it might be it might look better than it is, if that makes sense. There's quite a few break evens in there, but the difference is I'm trying to position myself for these moves. If you join me on stream, you will see I will try and position myself for these moves. Like even here, well, that's poor, Alex. That's so poor, but I just thought we were going to hold that. But there we go. I missed this here. That's a shame. But there we go. Didn't like what I saw on the tape, but there we go. It's all right. Be kind to yourself, Alex. Be kind. Still haven't filled the gap yet. Yes, we have. This grey line is the gap. Cash gap is right here. We have filled that gap. Same on ES. We've also filled the gap on ES. We've absolutely filled it. Cash gap right here. Grey line. We've filled it. It's absolutely been filled. All right. It's been filled. You see ES doing exactly the same thing. Filled the gap. Building out profile. Building out volume. Break above here probably gets relief up into that. If you want to take the counter trend, like I always talk about, hardest trade in the books, the counter trend relief, but you're adamant on trading it. What are the benefits of being a member of this channel? Not much, really. I guess just supporting me, getting more shout outs. If you ask a question, I will answer it because it will show up on my screen. I can't answer all the questions now, especially as we get bigger and bigger on stream. I try to answer as many as I can, but obviously then members will get preference. But if you want to support the stream, that's a good way of doing it. How do I find where the gap was? It's the close. Cash gap close. GC swan diving, is it? Let's have a little look. Let's have a little look. See, they've gone risk off on everything. Oh, they have. So GC's just closed its gap as well. So next thing you'd be looking at is these lows down here. See, I haven't got any volume built out, but yeah, you could look at this pivot in here into 265, and if it lets go of that, there's an old low of 190. This looks very much like the same bid up, bid up, bid up, coming back into key level. I'd be like going risk off now at this point if I was on GC, right? All you have to do on GC, if you didn't take this break, was just take this break here. Right, take this break here, very thin. You can see lack of structure in there. Straight back down into here. Break down into here. Runners down into there. Same thing, same setup, same kind of thing that you look at all the time. Do you have trap participants? Is there a shelf? If there is, can we get involved somehow? Why do I think we crashed today when the big tech companies' earnings are tonight? Well, most of them were last night. It's not really, I wouldn't call it a crash. Not yet. But right, let's go over. The regulars on the channel can tell me why we're doing these moves. So let's start on the daily, right? You regulars, tell me what did we expect up here and why? Right? If you're a regular, you tell me what we expect up here and why. Right? What do we expect? There you go. Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands. All right, Bollinger Bands. So we were running out of room. We talked about it. These are starting to expand, but we can't get over these. We can't get over these. We can't get under these. We can't get under these. We can't get over them. We can't get under them. We can't get over them. We can't get under them. There's some edge for you. But before you do anything else, you can look at that. Now, did we know we were going to sell hard today? No, we didn't. We didn't know we were going to sell hard. I actually thought we'd probably have an inside bar. All right, I thought we'd trade down into here and see if they can hold the bid and go inside and build this out, right, to try and open this up. But we didn't, which means what? Well, this becomes trap buyers, right? And now we're starting to lose this. What does that become? A failed breakout. All right, so if you think about all the participants who position net long, remember, I've talked about all week. The rotation happened here Friday, right? We started buying Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You don't want to buy the breakout, guys. You don't want to buy the breakout. You want to be positioned for the breakout for this very reason, right? They didn't hold the breakout, which means what? All these buyers are now becoming sellers, and all we're doing is trading back down. So now we've cleaned up all these stops. We filled this gap. Remember I talked about this gap? We have efficiently filled that gap now. The market has become efficient. We talked about this. You can go back and rewind the streams. I said, if they're going to be really nasty, we will do a failed breakout. We'll fill that gap. We will lose the bid, and we will now come all the way down here and clean all this out. That is why it's happening. It doesn't matter what the catalyst is. Like, it really doesn't matter. What matters is the volumes caught, right? What matters is the volumes caught. And then we go from there down a time frame into like an hourly. Right, this right here. Where's your volume from the last few sessions? If we think about this from Tuesday, right, from Tuesday, bid up, Wednesday, and Thursday morning, right, Globex. So you've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Globex. What happens here? These are all trap buyers. They become what under here? Market sellers. What do? Use their pain. Where do we come to? Next key level. Confluence, next key level. So old point of control, old value area low, old point of control, old point of control. This is the old balance that we just broke out from. This can still technically, this can still be a breakout and pullback like I've talked about. If they bid off here and come back here and build liquidity, we will then have room to go high because the Bollinger Bands would have moved. But they can also come up here, lose the bid, and absolutely slam this. My expectation, like I talked about, we probably will come up here. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday, Tuesday next week. What happens then is what's going to be absolutely pivotal for the rest of the quarter. Tuesday. How do you say it? Tuesday? Oh my God. Monday? Yeah. Come with me on a Tuesday as I take you through the market. I will show you where the market's going to. Doesn't mean I'm currently bearish for the future. I think it's too early to say. I was bearish for that breakdown to here. If we start losing these key levels on those like big weekly profiles, yes. Yes. Right, previous week, point of control. Still trying to come into it. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you joining. That's very kind of you. Okay, ES keeps rejecting that 20-day. I'm just wondering, do they want to attack the lower Bollinger Band? Because ES is already trading through that 20-day and it's staying heavy there. Q's coming into 20-day now. Why do we never see an influencer talk like that about the markets? They do it about everything. Come with me. Shut the fuck up. And they always talk so quick. There's no break. Come with me as I take you to my best restaurant in LA. Oh my God, they serve the absolute best Peking duck. It's unbelievable. Look at this stir-fried rice. Shut the up. Get a job. Get a job. Okay, previous week point of control. Geez, what a trade, man. So they still held these sellers. They didn't give that relief above it. Right, they still held this level. They've traded down to POC. We're starting to run out of levels here. We honestly are. This is like probably the next spot. And it's starting to look very, very bad for this market. Really, 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 really bad. I can give you a readout on the mags. Probably a good thing to do right about now. So Tesla 2.29% down. Nvidia 1.73% down. Microsoft 11.78% down. That'll be SSR tomorrow. I will be watching that. Meta holding its gains. Come on, because I'm swing long Meta. 7.29% up. I wonder if I should, while I'm talking about that, I'm going to have a quick look. Google 2.44% down. Amazon 1.87% down. Apple pretty much flat. Let me have a look. Should I be trimming some of my Meta position? Quite possibly. Now up 15% on that. Average price is $5.90. Give me a second here, folks. Just want to see if I want to manage this because we've probably filled that gap that I was looking for. In fact, I know we filled the gap. How big's this pullback? There's the close. I'll wait and see. I'm long from where? Average price 590. So I'm long from here. Why is that only up 15% then? That don't make sense. Let me check that out. I want to see if we can get up into it. I think we can, but we've filled that gap, haven't we? Yeah, maybe I'll trim a little bit. Maybe I'll just trim a little bit. What day did we buy that in the swing, guys? It's last year, wasn't it? So it was down here. Bought in November. Sell a little piece there. There we go. Yeah, any of the rest of Discord? Any of you still in that long with me? Let's see when I bought it. I have to have a look. We got that gap fill. It's what I was looking for, which is great. I'm going to break down here. Market's still bleeding. I'm going to be looking at this at the end of the day thinking, why didn't I just hold my short all day long? Where's the swings? Where was Meta? What day did we get in there? Did I call it? Netflix. Oracle. Can't even see it. Maybe I did it in the wrong channel. I know we alerted it. AMD. I can't see it. What are you guys saying? Does initial balance have two levels? Yeah, the high and the low. The low is right here, the purple, and the high will be the purple at the high, which would be high of day, all the way up there. We ain't coming back for that today. We are not coming back for that today. This is starting to look very, very, very bad. Look at the size of these 2 hourly candles. Please don't get short down here, guys. I know it's still bleeding. Please don't get short down here. You're literally asking to get run over if you do that. Come with me as I take Meta swing long. Oh my God. Okay, value keeps moving down. You can see the edge of it here. They've defended this now very, very, very well. All right, so this is pain point for sellers. All right, they do not want it above this. We are still bleeding away from this. Buyers had a chance to try and do this. They couldn't do it. They didn't build the liquidity to do it. Flow zones still stay in a sell, multi-time frame sell. I am, well, I'm miffed. Not upset because I want the long. I'm just miffed because we would now be up. Oh my God, almost 500 points. If we hit this, it'd be 500. Oh God, that's painful. That is painful, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Was the opening 15-minute concept still valid? Yeah, well, it's right here. So if you risked to the mean of the orb and you faded outside the orb, yeah, that's your trigger. It's that white line right here. That's your orb right here, which is currently value area high on the day. Very much would have worked. Basically what we took here. We just didn't get the continuation when I wanted it. And the blood is still very present in this market. Things, not a day to be trying to bid on it, that's for sure. I left 20k on the table, yeah, probably, and some, to be honest. But there we go. All right, this is the next spot, I think, potentially. Is that here? Yeah, 600. That's probably the next spot. Where's the low volume node? 540 to 513s. Let's think about that Sunday open low to the high of week. We're now in the golden pocket as well. You see these orange lines. We're now well into that golden pocket. So you don't want to be a new money short down here. You really don't. That doesn't mean you want to be long, but you really don't want to be a new money short. Right? We're at we've done a 70% fade since the yesterday's high. We've pulled back over 70% now. You don't want to be a new money short. Blue box coming up here, folks. And 620s on the Qs. VIX still going. The Vicky VIX is still going. Alex, some more trap buyers with price moving down. Is 830 in play for a squeeze up? For more trap buyers? You need trap sellers for the squeeze up. You need trap sellers for the squeeze up. Right now, Delta's been very, very, very heavy this whole way down. It just depends if and when they finish with the auction. They're just dumping inventory right now. It's probably around here, and if not, then can keep coming lower. But like, you don't want to bid. You're going to need trap buyers. So you're going to need, if you're going to play that counter trend, which I always say is the hardest trade in the book, I don't try and trade it. But you're going to need something like this, and you're going to need trap buyers, you know, down here, and then a reclaim of profile, and then a squeeze back up into each level. But you're going to need to respect each of these now. How do I get the blue boxes? I draw them on just based on old volume areas, right? They're just based on old volume areas on previous week profiles. What profile am I using on TV in the settings? This is anchored volume profile, all right? So anchored to 930, and I set it to 2 ticks, right? If you don't want ticks, you can set it to 1,000 a row. Starting to build out a node down here like we just talked about, right? This is the type of thing you want to see, and then you want like a flush under it and a reclaim of it if you're going to be the counter trend long, because we're extended away, so you want like a flush under and a reclaim, and then if you're absolutely adamant on playing that counter trend, that's what you'd want to see. But for me, you're just bidding against the tape. You'd need to see something like this, 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 and this. Otherwise, in fact, I just wouldn't touch it long anyway. We're just dumping inventory, but each to their own. I would say sellers have got caught now at 30s. So if they don't get an expansion through 30s, they've got caught, but you're going to need to see it pivot over this node for you to have that counter trend long. I really would be very skeptical about taking anything long side today. We're in a big trend down day. We're just absolutely melting. Ask yourself, is there a reason to do it? Blue box coming up here. And then if we trade through this blue box, probably talk about into here maybe, and there's thin node all the way down to 534s. So blue box now tagged. How often do they dump inventory? Every 1 to 2 months? It really depends how extended we've got and how trapped. But if you have a look, we did it in July, did it in August, we did it in October, we did it in November, And then we've been in a range since. This is the first. I guess you could argue like early December there was a bit of a dump, but it not like this. This is on a failed breakout. Oh, well, there's your 500 pointer. Fuck, that's hard to look at, man. That is hard to look at. We had the best sell of the day. Trading's cruel, isn't it? You think you've done really well with 250 odd points. And then it does another 250 plus. Oh, God. Oh, my God. So you turn it on at the start of the session, AVP. Yeah, I anchor it at the start of each session. Starting to see these sellers try and pile in at these lows here. There's still bids down lower into 600, but it's getting a bit wonky down here. Definitely getting wonky down here. They get themselves caught, there'll be a nasty swipe. They are piling in right now. The long would happen for a base over 640 in my mind. Over 640, there's potential for a squeeze. Just a small counter trend squeeze. So here's the move back towards 640 probably. So it all depends if they defend this or not now. So where do we tap then? 35s, and they defended it successfully. So still no squeeze over 40s. That grey box still holding up, right? Grey box still holding up. When I trade Ninja, do I use ATMs? I do, yes. I just trade, I use a minute chart, but I have a third party CIDI for my profiles, right? So like this. All right, so come back to these 40s. If they can base over 40s, there's probably some relief back up towards 90s, but not unless they base over it. This is very much like earlier. Remember, every time they've tried to do that, the same stories here. They pushed and pushed and pushed and kept getting sold into. So there will not be a trigger long, and that will be bottom picking, by the way. But there will not be that counter trend trigger long until you see this move here. All right, until you see that and pull back and hold. Until that, all the time they're doing that, they're just going to keep digging lower and lower and lower and lower until they're done with it. What's the next trade long? I think I just showed it for you. Right, it's over 40s. It will be a trigger over 40. Here's the approach of 40. Sellers trying to defend this. If they can't defend this, we will see a squeeze up. There is an imbalance all the way up to 64, and it's very possible we'd lift all the way up to 90 if they can base through 40s. Come on, catch up, please. There we go. Not you guys. I'm talking to Bookmap. It just keeps pausing on me. So 40 is the level. This grey box is the level. Can they base over it and force a squeeze up? They've got a chance to do it now. It's now or never if they're going to do it. Nope. So they just failed there again. Oh, someone's just come in. Some big boys come in here trying to absorb the tape. I'm not convinced. What's your game, mate? I would say sellers are caught under 20 at the moment. So I guess that's their pain point. If it bases above 20 and holds between 20 and 40 and then squeezes through 40, they can use their pain. But if we come back under 20, those sellers are in control of this last, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes or so, 8 minutes. It's just, I'm just talking about what I'm seeing here. Right. This level here. Right, it's 20. If they sell through this, obviously we move lower. They're starting to sell through. So no base over 40s, failure over 40s. Again, just like we talked about up here, no bid over 40. And down to the 600. Let's see if they're adding liquidity lower. Just full dump of inventory. 80s coming up here. You can see them adding on the book really low now into the edge of this next blue box. There is a low volume now down to 523s now. I am like starting to get very, very upset at this point. How much money am I going to feel like I've left on the table by the end of the day? It doesn't matter about the news, guys. News doesn't matter. You got to understand. News is just a catalyst, all right? This is a dumping of inventory based on who's trapped in the market. Don't worry about it. Like, all we're really doing, what's actually changed, right? Maybe we go down to this like Bollinger Band by the end of the day. But all we're actually doing is coming back into mean. I mean, we have gone past the mean. But if you look at where we've traded, really from the highs, the all-time highs that we put in down to that sort of November low, and then you look at the range that we created before, all we've done is a failed breakout. We've gone over it so many times. It's a failed breakout. That's all we've done. Failed breakout, trading back inside. I am starting to like look at this chart thinking, are we actually coming for that lower Bollinger Band today? Are we actually going to trade top bowl to low bowl? The last day we did that was October the 9th. October the 9th, we did that exact trade. We traded top bowl to low bowl on a daily, which is a 4 sigma move, which is insane. It's absolutely insane, but it has happened. Yeah, it would be 4 standard deviations, Brandon. Yeah, so if you look back on a daily chart with your Bollinger Bands on, go back to Friday the 10th of October. That was the last time we did it. It's a very rare occasion to do that, but we have done it. Previous week open, by the way, is 470. 470 down here is previous week open. Be mad if they come for that. Fix still going straight up. 50-day next stop for the Qs probably. Oh, Alex. Let me just do an expansion of IB just to see. I feel like it's doable then. 161 into here, 470 is the previous week open. Oh my God. Wild. Very, very wild. I'm going to be left a very upset man today. How would you know when a big move like today happens? Well, you don't. You just position for it. There's no guarantees. Like, you have to position when we leave volume, and you have to take partials by looking left into each key level. You don't know that it's going to come down and do this. There's no clear way of saying that you know that. We don't know where it's going to stop. We have ideas. You can see each blue box. We find a bid, but we're trading through it. So then it's like next level, next level, next level. Let me just put 470 on because that's previous week. Open. Just make sure I get it on right here. In fact, I can just turn it on my flow zones. Hang on. Previous week open. Let's put that to grey. Should have gone on. There we go. Yeah, just a normal Bollinger Bands. They should always be set. And then normally they are always 2 standard. So whenever you put it on a screen, it'll be 2 standard from your 20-day moving average. What a bleed. What a bleed. Microsoft approaching 12% down on the day. What do you reckon? Apple save the day and we rip it right back up? What's my strategy, Alex? Close my eyes and guess. My strategy is just to play the pro trend where possible. And so, like when we left value today, the pro trend became down for the day. That's my strategy. And then finding ways of joining that. Every flag is working. Yeah, it is. They keep selling off. It's just like, you got to understand, like if you're playing these like breakdowns, you're playing like deep discount. You're selling deep discount to go lower. It's so risky. It's not how I like to play. I like to position myself short in premium to get to discount based on value. Big seller came in at 560. That's like a big level now. Big seller came in at 560. Here's the move back to 560 where they were. Are they going to refresh here? If they don't, big relief through that 560. That's the squeeze. Watching now, we did trap now. So 560 is a big, big, big level. And they're starting to offer a bid now and try and walk it up. I'm interested in this for a little upside squeeze here. Thank you. Let's see if they hold 60s and come and revisit 37s. Here they come. Whoosh! What a flyer. So probably going to revisit the 600s and possibly the 37s. Oh, I'm going to make too much fucking money on this. My next problem. All right, got to sell that. Made too much money. Only by a little bit. This game. So why was I interested there? The big seller got himself caught. There's the relief through it. The seller actually came in at 60s. I'll try and show you him here. All right, the seller, big seller here. So selling at the lows, good auction at lows. 60 was their trigger point. Right, once we got through 60s, there's the relief up into this imbalance. So you should be taking partials now. I wasn't going to trade it, but once I saw him have that much size at the lows, I just thought, you absolute idiot, what are you doing? So now it's very simple. Pullbacks need to hold into these imbalances for that rotation higher. And you'd be targeting the next level of 640s. All right, so remember, they got trapped here. We can do this trap level right here. This is where they're stuck from. They got stuck here and under. I'm actually going to leave this on for a second and see if we get over 40s now. I'm going to have to switch accounts here. There's too much money on that account. Yeah, I went long just for the squeeze up. Once we reclaim that 60s, I'm already out of it. And I'm watching this node here into 40s to see if we get over that, I'll consider an add. And if we dip down and hold, we'll see. It won't even be an add. It'll be a fresh position because I'm already out on that first account. Made too much money. It was well over the 30%. Let's see. Remember, 60s is the key level here. Buyers will need to defend 60s here. We are still in a trend down. I want you to remind you that. But I'm just interested how we act into here. Still holding it well so far, well in front of it. There are imbalances all the way down to 48. Downside, there are imbalances upside up to 626. I really want to see if we can live through 40s or come back and test 40s. At the moment, not. How do I figure out the seller down there? Again, delta, bookmap and footprints showing me the delta. I can see when they're offside. I know that 60 level is massive right now. Doesn't mean we can't move lower. It just means that's currently where they're trapped. That's all it means. It's currently where they're trapped. This grey box. Well, you can see we haven't, it's not like we've shifted, right? We haven't done this yet, right? So we can build liquidity out into here and they still use that for a sell-off. Understand that. So I played this relief to here. If they hold this, there's possible for relief to here. Squeeze will happen over here, and we can still just build liquidity there that they resell down. It's very possible. I won't be taking sells now because we're so far into discount, right? So if I'm going to take trades, they're going to be scalpy, long trades based on trap participants. And really, I probably should be done for the day. So see if these 60s hold. It's the big level right now. If they trade through it, then probably a new lower day. If they hold in front of it or at it, there is relief. So far, holding in front of it. Here we go. So can they lift this now up towards these 40s is the question. Buyers tried, not getting very far here. So that grey box holding that we just put in, that's where that trap seller is. He's there. We just need to see this like lift now. They're going to try these 600s, big psychological number. Here we go. Here we go, folks. Come on. You got to lift. You got to lift. You got to lift. You got to lift. They're still stacking these sellers, 95s and 605s. They're still trying to force this lower at the moment. I keep telling you why 60s, guys. I can't keep like saying it a million times. Just do the course, guys. Like, I'm not even trying to sell it, but I keep explaining it. I'm not going to give you any more edge. I've said a million times why the 60s. I even dragged it onto the screen to show you. You've even got the node lined up there for you. I've told you he's all sell side in there. There's a seller stuck at 60s. I couldn't say it anymore if I tried. See if they lift. I don't know how you don't know when I'm literally verbalizing it so much. This is what makes it hard with chat. Like, don't do me a favor. Don't flip between like me and some other shitty trader. Either stay here with me or go there, because I don't want to explain myself 10 times of the same thing. That's not me being an asshole, but like, I don't know. If you want to watch Top Set TV, I don't know what to tell you. Learn how to lose money, probably. Right, back under these 60s now. So buyers not defending those 60s. Not yet. Well, they're there or thereabouts. ES looking like it's trying to break down to make a new low. This area, very, very key now for sentiment. Failure to break down will cause more shorts to get trapped. And they do have targets down here. If they want to come for this grey line, they can. That grey line is previous week open. Is that right? Previous week open, isn't it? Yeah, previous week open. What indicator is that? It's the Flow Zone Pro. Yeah, I'm already done with it. I'm already done with it, Josh. Just small scalp from that 60 relief. We haven't based and held above the 40s yet. So I'll consider something back up here. I'm watching it just in case they trap a lot. Like, I know it's a big level down here at that 60s. We'll see. If there's something to play, I'll play it. I've already had that first trade, which was what, from 60s all the way up to 20s. So what's that? 60 points. Here we go. They're trying to hold these 60s and force this squeeze. I'm watching this now as we go back towards these 600s. Yeah, okay, let's see. Watching these 600s, and if we get relief through that 40s. Got a tiny, tiny, tiny piece on. Right above the 60s. Failing 600s again. So still washing those 600s. Still no confirmation above this blue box. So that higher time frame level still holding us down. Break even on this. And there we go. Oh, Lucid website's down, is it? Sorry to hear that, folks. How can I find the heat map? It's called Bookmap. You can just buy it on Bookmap. Right, more sellers coming in again there at 53 and getting caught. There's definitely some form of absorption happening down here, but it's too early to say about a pro trend or like a big move up. But there is 100% I'm seeing absorption on the tape down here at 60 and under. 100%. It doesn't mean they can't flush them all, but every time they're coming down there, there is a buyer nibbling at it. Yep. There's a buyer trying to step in and force this up to 605s right now. Here we go. Seller coming in at 80s. They've got to pop through 80s to get that move to 605. This is getting toit, 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 toit. Yeah, we had 175 lots stuck at 550, 127 lots stuck at 560, and that's just in the last leg down. So someone is trying to absorb 60s to 50s. Doesn't mean we can't move lower. All I'm saying is I can see in here we are starting to see absorption under this level. Look at all these sellers, 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 sellers. Someone is absorbing under here. There you go. They're trying to absorb it again. I can see it on the tape. It doesn't mean we move higher. It means that there is a buyer sat here right now absorbing this. He does not want it under there. If he gets his way, he will get this move here. But if sellers get their way, they will crush him because he keeps trying to absorb it, and you'll get this move down to here. That is the battle right now. There is a two-sided tape, but I can tell you right now, there is a buyer sat here trying to absorb everything he can. I'm out of this at the moment. What's the easiest prop firm to get payout from? I don't know, TPT or Funded Next, probably. Weekly pivot, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Right, still half of you have not smashed that like button, folks. 1,150 of you watching. Half of you haven't smashed that like button. We've had some bangers on trades on stream today, and I want to do some Apex giveaways and some course giveaways. So smash that like button. And this buyer might get himself caught soon. He's come in many, many times. If they reject 60 now, you're going to probably get this move down here. This is a big over-under now. If they reject this, you will probably get a swipe because he's come in so heavy there. That's why I cut the trade. So I nibbled at it here to here, and I nibbled at it here to here, and I was like, no. You say buyer and protecting an area. Can you see how much they put into cause to the move? Are we talking hundreds of thousands of millions? Yes, we are. We're talking about institutional buying. We're talking about multiple 200 lots in here. Right, this is failure to break down here again. Divergence to ES, which made a new low, reclaiming these 60s. Still sellers trapped at 60s and low of day. Oh, it's tempting. Oh, it's tempting. Imbalance here into 70. Still flow is bearish. Flow zones are bearish. Would love one more decent trade. I'm not going to trade downside from here though. So I either need an upside squeeze or I need to let the squeeze happen and fade that upside squeeze when it's done. See, you can see this node, this 60 level, so big. It's so big. Back through the 60s. Do they force relief now? Because they've done a failed breakdown. Shorts have failed to break the lows now. This edge here, 80s is an interesting level. Through 80s, then I think there's possible for a lift all the way up to 40s. That's like a base over 80s, not just like a tap into it. We need to get above and hold above it, and then there's probably a move all the way up to 640. Here's the move to 80s. Looking to see if we can hold here. Back to 60s probably, see if they test this 60s and hold it. No hold of 60s, still no trade then. No hold of 80s, no hold of 60s, still no trade. I tell you what, while they do this, because I reckon I can give it a couple minutes, I need to pee, and I'll be right back. No! Motherfucker! Oh, no way! No way! You fucking did it when I used the bathroom. All right, hopefully some... Oh, God. Oh, you just got to laugh. You've just got to laugh. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys got it. I mean, I had it planned for you. Reclaim of 60s, held above 80s. There's the squeeze back to the 40s. All right, there's your squeeze. All right, if they find acceptance over here, they get going. Oh, you absolute bastards getting that without me. Was it literally as I walked away? Oh my God. All right, so in here, you can see this 60s level. How key is this 60s level? They kept getting trapped underneath this 60s level. Look at the sellers at the lows. And once we reclaim the 80s, you can see this shelf. Then we squeeze right back up to the top side towards 40. So that's your trade done. You should be locking in because your counter trend, right? You want to be aggressive with your stop. So if you come up here, you want to be taking a lot of this out, all right? If we start basing here, all right, you want to be careful. And then we can think about a base above and a lift. But remember, this can still be sold into, right? Can build out liquidity, be sold into. We're playing this leg here. You must take some profit into it. You can hold runners for all the way up here. If it's a gift, you'll get all the way up there for it. But it's too late for me now, unfortunately. I've missed it. Used the bathroom at the wrong time. Yeah, lots of you getting it. So this is why, when you guys are like, oh, can you tell us when you're entering and you're telling us... This is why I teach you, because if I didn't tell you what was happening, you wouldn't know that we're looking for a 60s to 80s move, and from 80s for squeeze up to 40s. From 60s to 80s, from 80s squeeze up to 40s. There you go, TP hit, and anything above that now is a bonus back inside. All right, so if I just said, oh, I'm entering, you wouldn't understand when to take profit, when to do this, when to do that. That's why I try and teach as I go. So another winner on stream. Here you go. So you might well get relief all the way up here. It's very possible they lift this aggressively now. It's very possible you get a giant squeeze in this now. So hopefully you're positioned well from it, from 60 or 80. And you should be up 100 points now already. How's your luck? How's your luck, Alex? Oh, it's cruel. It's cruel. It's cruel. Nice work, Dave. Great work, mate. And just move your stop up. All right. So what you will want to see now is bulls base over this for a second leg. All right. If they're going to do a second leg, bulls will need to base here, all right, for the next leg. And you expect that will probably be sold. But, you know, we can afford to come all the way up here. You might get lucky on your runner. There's lots of stops up here. You never know. You might get lucky and get that. You might. You very well might. We might have just had the perfect trade down there at that 60s. So the 60s call was good, wasn't it? Like everything under 60s was excess. If we go to here, everything under 60s was excess. So if we mark 60s out with a horizontal line, I've called 60s right here. All right, sellers kept getting trapped. Sellers trapped underneath it here. And I kept telling you in here, there is someone trying to absorb the tape. I could see him trying to absorb the tape and he didn't let it break down, which meant anyone who entered short here, remember their take profit is under here, they get squeezed. And their trigger for that squeeze is the 80s break and the 20s break to get you to the 40s. The 40s break now is causing the squeeze up. So think about the stops. You're running all the stops, filling the imbalances, trying to probably get up into this next cluster. All right, so that was the trade thesis. But again, what do I know? What do I know? I'm just a stupid 40-year-old with specs on YouTube. This is just, am I going to re-enter? I mean, it's going to be very hard for me to get an entry now. All right, the optimal entry was down here, this grey box. We kept talking about it. Grey box and the 80s reclaim. Anywhere here was optimal entry. If it pulls back here and holds, yes, potentially. But you have to understand that this, right, maybe we get one more leg out of it and then they can fade that. If we get lucky, we get that leg all the way up to here. But I've lost optimal entry, all right? I hate entering after I've lost optimal. If the optimal entry was here, you're up 110 points right now, and you just let it fucking squeeze. Let everyone get taken out, and you take your money, you risk off as you move up, and you hold your runners. Nice baited. Yeah, hopefully it's helped. Don't forget the top knot. Yeah, a 40-year-old Arsenal supporting idiot with a top knot, wearing glasses and a patchy beard. A has-been DJ. How long did it take me to get here? Quite a while, I'll be honest. Like I had some bad mentals. I learned some bad habits. Getting rid of those bad habits was flipping hard work, which is why I created the flow zones for myself for a long time. It took me longer than probably most. To be at the level I'm at now, I feel like I'm improving every day, every week still got lots to learn. I don't think you ever stop learning. You know, when I talk to family friends of mine who are, 60s and 70s and retired, some of them ex head of like emerging markets and stuff at Morgan Stanley and stuff like that. They, you never stop learning. So I think I'm getting better every day. I think the last few months have been some of my best trading yet. But who knows? Maybe the market's just being kind to me at the moment, and I've got a good read of it, and maybe the market changes and adapts, and then I will need to change and adapt. All right, we're holding this low volume node here. I'd like to see a retest of here, somewhere in here, if they're going to actually offer a rebid up. Remember, deep pullback flow zones and IB are right here, and previous week point of control. This is a big level here, big level. This is not like this. This is like this. All right, the big level that we're coming into. Big node on the developing week profile as well. If I move you down, all right, don't be expecting too much. All right, if we're thinking about where we're trading back to, back into here, and if we zoom out and look left down here, this old point of control from the week of Monday the 19th. All right, we're coming back into this huge node here. So don't expect too much. If we get over that node, then yes. If we start breaking over 700s, then yes, I think there's an argument that we might trade up to 860s or something. It's not pulling back for me to join him. Just got to lick my wounds, give you guys the best call possible there, I think. I didn't have a mentor, man. I don't want to bad name people that I learnt some bad stuff from. I don't want to bad name them. I had some bad mentors. The only room that I was in which was useful and I wasn't in there for too long was Investors Underground. I think Nate's a great trader. Great trade. I think there's some great traders in there. But it's very small cap focused. Will I put the course on discount? No, not right now. It's such good value. Here you go, guys. Your squeeze is on. So next level, if you're lucky, you're going to get all the way up to 800s, right? So you should be, where's my long? This is what we talked about. Anywhere from sort of 80s and 60s. You might have entered lower. You should be long from here, right? Taking profit into here. And if you're lucky, you get up into there. That would be 200 points. But you must be locking, I'd say, a good 70% into this area here. This red box here, you've got to be locking most in. If you're lucky, you're going to come and run these stops up here. If you're very, very lucky. But lock most of it into here. 70, 80%. Hold 20% in case you get that lift. Are there live sessions on Discord? In Discord in the afternoons, it's more I will type in levels and call what I'm seeing. Most of my trading happens in the New York session, like in the morning. I think we get the better moves in the morning. If we get shit moves in the morning, I'm more likely to stay at my desk all afternoon. Okay, so it is possible we come for these stops up here. You know, SPY finding a bid at that 685 gamma level as well. It's still on my screen from a while ago. And come straight back up, all the way up towards the 89's initial balance. So if you're trading options today, you're probably making a lot of money. Do I trade Asia and London? No, I am asleep. Guys, I'll be honest. I try and trade this session here and I try and be done with it. Otherwise, my screen's too long and it's not great. I want to be fresh as much as possible. If I think there's a big trade setting up in Asia, or not London, I'm not awake, but Asia, then sometimes. Alex, I'm new to your channel. Question on the anchor volume profile. Is it based on ticks or what settings are you able to share? Yes, it's set to 2 ticks. 2 ticks. If you don't like using ticks, I would say use 1,000 rows, but 2 ticks. Take care, mate. Have a good day. All right, so like I said, you should be locking most into this initial balance. Like I said, this was target. So we actually had like target 1 hit, target 2 hit, target 3 is all the way up here for a runner. But, you know, we might very well defend this red box. That's why it's red, because it's going to be supply. It's a big, big, big level. It's not just the initial balance. It is also the point of control dating back from last week, right? That's why it's got that red line here, previous week point of control. Hard to see, I know. And this is the thick area. And also the week before, it's value area low from the week of Monday, the 12th of Jan. Monday, the 12th of Jan. So you can hold runners if you're willing to hold runners looking for this. Starting to hold flow zones, but you know, this is the counter trend leg right now. Re-enter buy. For me, there's no, like, I wouldn't really want to re-enter buy up here. Doesn't mean you can't. Like, we are holding a shelf. We are holding a shelf. But for me, like, I prefer the buy down into this or this. Somewhere into here if we're going to have another go. Because if you're buying here, you've got to understand that you might only get to here and fail and collapse. So the RR, for me, doesn't work out. If it continues to squeeze up, then it works out for you, but it's too high risk. I think this node here and down here is more important. Somewhere in here, the edge of this 40s that we talked about, and even this down here. Maybe one of these, but you have to understand that we've just tagged into the key level, it might very well be that they do this for the rest of the day. It's very possible. Because we're counter trend, right? You are on squeeze up counter trend right now. What year did I start trading? Well, I actually first started trading when I first left university, when I thought I was going to do it as a job. So what's that? And it's 20 years ago, 19 years ago. I graduate 18, 19, 21. Yeah, 19 years ago. When I was interviewing everywhere to go and do it as a job. But I didn't trade for a long time after that. I just had like some investment pieces. And I came back to the markets probably a couple of years before COVID. Did we form some kind of lower high for the all-time high? I mean, it's possible. It's possible, but we've swept the stops. We've filled the gap. It just now depends if there's continuation, right? So we're just back into the range. It depends if there's continuation. But yes, you could argue that. We swept all the stops. If you joined me earlier this week, we talked about the gap fill on the QQQ especially. All right, if we go to this, that's why it's so important to look at the cash gap markets. We go to like a 1 day on the QQQ. We had an old gap which needed to be filled right into here, right? Which we have now successfully filled. That is job done. That gap on the NQ was into this block, right here, right? We had to fill this right into this, right? Because this was a gap down on this day here, Tuesday. So we opened New York session here. So all we've done, run these stops, fill that gap, become efficient, come back into the range. We're back into death chop, guys. I know it looks really bad. Right, we're back into death chop. Hello, Mr. Death Chop. Dum, 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 dum. Failure outside, failure above, failure outside, failure below, failure above. We're back into death chop. When does this get quantified as a lower high? When we start breaking down, right? We start doing this, where we're going to come 200-day moving average and wash everyone out. Very possible. But I don't want to say that's what's going to happen because it's too early right now to say that's what's going to happen. Okay, so we can move this up. Your next target is up here. If you get lucky, you will get this. We're getting 30 minutes away from lunch. And how many likes? We're doing pretty well here. We'll do one giveaway now. I lost the shorts, but I took the long now. Appreciate you, Alex. You always give me extra confluence and edges that I miss. Thank you, brother. You're welcome. What did you take this trade based off? The trapped sellers down here at the 60s, right? Go back and rewind this to, I'd say, rewind it to 10:55 in the morning all the way to 10 past 11. I kept telling you that there's a trapped seller at 60, right, at 560, and that there was someone absorbing the tape non-stop down there. Could see him doing it. Going high of day. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That's what I said. Apple for the win. Do they come out with monster earnings and we're back at all-time highs? I mean, it would be absolutely hilarious. It would be so funny. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I'm just saying it would be funny. Two ticks. Volume profile, 2 ticks. So basically, the course will educate us on how to read what you're reading. Yes, the way I trade, every way I trade, I explain in the course. The course is no joke, guys. I need to explain this to you. This is not some like 3-minute course, all right? The beginner to advanced course is 20 hours, is over 20 hours, right? So that is like all the principles from someone who's never learned. I'll build you up to understand all the key core principles. Then you can do the order flow and volume profile course if you want to understand more about how to identify the nuances of trap players in the market, which is why the market moves. So if you want to understand auction theory, volume profile, delta divergence, footprints, bookmap, that's all in the order flow course, right? Like I always say, not trying to push it. Go and do everything for free on my YouTube first, or join me on stream. Make sure you like how I trade. Make sure you understand how I trade. Okay. How much is the course? It's $699 if they've adjusted it correctly. Otherwise, it's still $649 for the 20-hour. And the volume profile and order flow course is $399. But the 20-hour one does come with a version of Flow Zones and with Discord. All right, so you get Discord for life with the 20-hour one. Okay, here we go. Apex is on sale right now, 90%. But if you want a chance to win a free Apex account, just type code FZT in chat now. Only type it once. Please don't spam or you get pulled out. All right, just type it once and we'll do a giveaway. So FZT, Flow Zone Trader FZT, type it once in chat and use that code for all your prop firms. It helps me do stuff like this for you guys for free. Means I don't have to charge, which is nice. It means I get to give back to you guys and you guys get the money that you guys want. All right, looks like we're going to break out here. So your next target, remember, you're looking to lift all the way up into these 800s, 840s if you can. You're going to have to get through the initial balance. So you should have already locked in, like we talked about, 60, 70, 80% of your profit into this. And you're looking to see if you get lucky to run these stops up here. You're going to have to respect this move into, like we have some spikes here, 750, 790. And if you get lucky, you get 840s. Guys a couple of minutes to do that. Did I forget to have my coffee? Oh, I'm going to warm this up, guys, because I forgot to have it. Same story for those of you trading ES and SPY, by the way. It's all the same stuff. We're coming into the same key level, same initial balance, right? So you've got to be locking in most of your money into that. Okay, give you guys 20 more seconds, then we'll do the giveaway. And hopefully, you guys should have made some good money with me today. The other trade we had, I did take a small scalp on this, my first attempt on it. Once I saw them caught. I should put this on so for transparency. Where is it? Long, where are you? This one? I took this first attempt here. Same level, saw him. Caught at 60 again. So those are the trades I've taken off stream. Well, I haven't taken this one. I've called that one for you. Unfortunately, I have not taken that one because I went to the toilet at the worst time. All right, let's pull this winner. 5, 4. I'm just letting Nightbot catch up. 3, 2, and 1. The Fresh Trader. Fresh. It always reminds me that word of what was the character called in Phone Jacker? I want it now and I want it fresh for all you Brits out there. Nice, Fresh Trader. Congratulations, Fresh Trader. All I need you to do for me is send me an email, info@flowzonetrader.com. Just send me a screenshot of you logged in so I know it's you. I've made a note of your name and I will sort you out with a free Apex account, any size that you want. All right? Congratulations. Happy for you. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So as long as you guys have locked in, you still look good. But I would say you would not want the dips to come under 35s. And if you're a scalper, you probably don't even want to let it come back down here. So if you're already long from 80, you probably don't want it to drift all the way back down. Right, you've probably made 120 points on this already. You probably are unwilling to sit through that. What did I do before this? What do you mean? Oh, do you mean as a career? I was a very average music producer and DJ. Just very average. Just used to play like empty bars. Do you have one course or two? There's two courses. The 20-hour course will give you the Discord and a version of the flow zones, right? So if you want Discord, you want a version of flow zones, you want to learn everything from scratch, so you get rid of slightly bad habits, that's the one to do. If you already know how to trade, but you're just looking to understand volume, order flow, delta, that stuff, just do the volume profile and order flow course. If you want to do both, there is a bundle, so it will save you some money. I didn't leave London for me, actually. I left London for my wife. It was time for me to do something for her career because she put up with me traveling the world for 10 years. What instruments do I play? I'm actually currently learning to play the guitar. I'm okay on the piano from producing, not great. But I'm currently learning the guitar. I'm at like day 10. My fingers are flipping sore, mate. They're so sore. You have a chance of a long up. Yeah, you do. You do. Like they're still like the sellers keep getting stuck at 70. Like if you look at Bookmap right now, it's the same story. Right, see this guy here, he's come piling in 74 lot, 71 lot, and he's just got squeezed out for this rip back up to 710s. But we can't get through the initial balance. So if you want to see that auction at the low this morning on Bookmap, right, into the 60s, zoom this out, 560s, right, look at this. Can I move this? Oh, I'm going to have to delete the drawings. Drawing tools, clear drawings. Right, remember we said 60 was the level. Horizontal line. Can we do 60? Where's 60? 50, 55, 57. 60 was the level. Okay, that was the level. See, earlier in the day, we sold through it at, I don't know what time this was, 10:54. They came piling in here at the low. That's a nice auction. Low of the day with sellers at the lows. We go back over, we hold. They try and sell through once, twice. This is what I told you. There's absorption happening. If we're seeing this much selling, right, this much selling here, this is market order selling, and we're not moving lower, what does it mean? Someone is absorbing. Where's the pivot? Pivot. We tried to see someone hold it here. We squeeze through. We come back. We back test. We back test, little flush, over, little flush, and then look what happens. 118 lot, 173 lot. They come piling in here. 106 lot, 41 lot, low of day, 139 lot. Then we instantly reclaim, and then what? Everyone who's a seller is now caught, and what do they get forced to do? Well, their stop to be above each of these swing points, and boom. All right, that's the pain. There's the pain point. You're seeing the same here now, right, of liquidity building up here, right? That's the build of liquidity. Selling keeps happening into this level. They're still trying to absorb it to complete the rotation. I would not personally be wanting to bid that. I would be more willing to let them sell through it and come and retest either this, like this kind of area here, right? Retest that and hold that W. Dum, 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 dum. That would be really nice. But it's counter trend. There's no doubt about it. It's a counter trend trade. It's the hardest trade to have in the book. I always talk about it. The best trades, the easiest trades to master are the pro trend trades, when the higher time frame and lower time frame want to do the same thing. Average DJ that travels the world. Yeah, well, I was lucky. You can teach me how to play guitar, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Have your fingers gone flat yet? I don't know. Like, what I'm struggling with is you might get the squeeze on the flag here. So leg 2 might be happening. So leg 1, leg 2, if we get a measured move here, how many points would we be looking at? Don't move that. If you get lucky, you're going to get this move. That would be the measured move. You might get this move to target. It is the correct measurement. So there is confluence right now for this to happen. There is confluence right now for this to happen. It doesn't have to happen, but if they have caught enough shorts under here, like we've talked about, I would much rather it comes down into here for me to bid. But if they have, and they can do this, the measured move technically, if that is leg 1, technically is leg 2. I'd be very cautious with it because it's counter trend. But if you are positioned long from here, you can try and hold a runner to get up into here. That would be a big, big, big trade. How much would that be for you? That would be 250-point trade. That would, well, at least I'd make up for the 500 pointer that we missed this morning when we only got 250 out of it. Yeah, what was I saying? What am I struggling for on... I'm struggling to move from... I really like E minor. Is it G? G's fine. D's fine. C I'm really struggling with. That like 3... What's that? First fret, second fret, third fret. I am struggling to do that. That is killing my fingers. I'm really struggling with that. If anyone plays guitar, they'll know. And they'll probably be like, mate, you are shit if you can't play 3 fret on a C. What is wrong with you? But I'm only 8 days in or something, guys. I don't understand how the 2,500 trading drawdown in Apex, if our position goes up 1K and then takes a stop loss at 500, it counts 500 drawdown. No, it would count more than that. So it's a trail, Fernando. So, right, let's say you're long here, all right, and you're $1,000 up, okay, and then you give $500 back, so you only lock 500 in. You've now eaten $500 of your drawdown. If you were $1,000 up and it came all the way back to break even, you have now eaten $1,000 of your drawdown because it's trailing drawdown. So the best way to do it with Apex, there's 2 ways of doing it. One is to size very small so that you can sit through the pullbacks and not worry, all right, which is what you should definitely do on your PA accounts. 2, which I do not advise doing, but I do this. If I need to get more accounts, I will be aggressive with my evals because I do not want to take long to do it, but I also know that I have ability to do it, is I'll be more aggressive with the sizing so that I know when I hit my target, I'm making sure that target takes a good chunk of the change for me. Like, so I want to try and pass it, not necessarily in one move, but I want to get a good chunk of it done. I'm not looking to hold through the drawdown. So the other way of doing it is being more aggressive and then trail your stop, all right? Move your stop up, 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 and you're out. And then you wait for a reload on the second trade. Move your stop up, take some partials. So you want to be taking partials at the highs of each move, right? You don't want to let it pull back on you on Apex when you're dealing with the trailing drawdown. Oh, really? Mate, yes, I might need some help. First of all, I need these to stop hurting because I'm like a little bitch. Like, I didn't play yesterday. It was the first day I didn't play because they've been so sore. I think they are feeling better today. Like, I'll tell you how much it was hurting, mate. I've overplayed so much that even typing on the keyboard was hurting. Here you go. You might get the lift here, guys. I really hope you get this. It would make me so happy, but also so jealous. Like, talk about timing. Alex goes to the toilet. He tries the trade here. He goes to the toilet. He comes back. It's here. He's missed the trade, and he doesn't want to buy here because he wants a deeper pullback. And now he's probably going to watch it hit the target. Well, thank you very much, market. Aren't you fun? Do I have monthly P&L targets? No. I used to do that. I like really try not to do that anymore because the problem with doing that is conditions change. This month will be a good month for me. I can tell you it'll be a good month for me. Why will it be a good month for me? Because the market's moved from a rotation market to a breakout and even a failed breakout so that we have opportunities like today. So these are my A+ opportunities when we start to leave volume trapped, right? When we start to leave volume trapped and we leave volume, we have an A+ opportunity. When we trade inside, which is what I thought we'd do today, that is very small amounts of trade for me. So if you think about the trades we've had all week, this week, they've pretty much all been in breakout, haven't they? Which has been very, very good for us. So if we go back to the trades we've had this week, yesterday was good, but it could have been better if they did the move that they did in earnings for me during the day. So yesterday is when is yesterday? So yesterday we bought this dip again, I think. Trying to remember. Was that yesterday? Or this is Tuesday? Tuesday we bought that dip. Wednesday we faded it back inside. Wednesday we played this down, and I wanted to buy it back here, but it didn't happen until the earnings call. So lots of my Discord bought that back up, which is the right thing to do. That was the trap level. Anyone that joined me yesterday will know we talked about this as the trap. So yesterday we played the pullback leg. Tuesday we bought the dip. Monday we also bought the dip for the breakout, I think. Where was Monday? Yes, we also played this on Monday, right? So we went in breakout from Monday. So this week's been good. Monday, upside. Tuesday, upside. Wednesday, we played the pullback leg. I wanted to buy the dip, but it happened in earnings. And then today, we left all that volume. So if you just zoom out, we go to like 15-minute here. We just zoom out. I can take this off to make it really easy. What have we done? Well, we're coming back to where we broke out from. This is where we broke out from. This is where we started bidding this week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we leave it. That's my A+. Leaving volume, that is my A+ scenario. This was A on the way up because we're also leaving trap volume on the way up, right? And now we're coming back to reprice it. If we do a dance in here next week, it will not be an A+ week for me. It will be a very boring week for me and how I trade, but I know what my edge is. I think that's the other thing that a lot of traders struggle with, like identifying the trade that you're looking for, the prime setup that you like to trade. Mine are pro-trending markets, right? Which means either in breakout or in a failed breakout. We've had both this week. It's been fantastic. Tyson, for example, is an IB trader. So Tyson will be looking for that or looking for this, right? So understanding, we talk about all the time, one play at a time. So many people come to the markets and they want to play every single candle, every single setup in front of them. You can't do that, guys. You can't do it. Like I said, read golf is not a game of perfect. I think it's the best book for traders to read. I know people will laugh at that. But if you are new to golf and you want to go and play an 18 hole with the pros and you get out your driver on hole number 1 in front of everyone watching in the stands, well, what are you going to do? You're going to absolutely fuck it up. The chances of you driving 300 yards straight down the middle are probably 0.001%. So why do you think coming to trade that you can come and take this like wonderful setup that you've never taken before? What's the easiest setup? You want like a little layup or an 8-iron, right? Nice, something nice and easy. Nice and easy layup. So get used to that layup. That layup for you might be IB to VWAP, right? It might be IB expansion. It might be opening range, right? It might be opening range expansion. It might be flag breakout. It might be a rotation of value. It's up to you to define what that is. Get good at that one trade, then add a second trade in, then add a third trade in, then add a fourth trade in. And once you've been trading for years and years and years, you will have a plethora of different clubs that you can get out depending on the environment. Thanks, Kat. No, I appreciate it. Anyone? You play golf and love the analogy. Yeah, well, it should make sense to you. How many moves are viable to play each day? Are there usually always around the first hour of New York? That is a good question, and there is no answer to that. Right, there is no answer to that, I'm afraid. Moves become dependent on setups. Setups become dependent on what's happened on the previous day, previous week, current week, previous session, right? So we cannot guarantee how many moves we're going to get a day. It really depends on what that setup. Is there a catalyst? Is the market moving? Is there someone trapped in the market? I would love to say to you, oh, well, I'm going to get 3 setups a day. Usually the market offers at least something, but it doesn't have to. And if you become rigid on that, That's another reason why lots of traders fail, all right? They become rigid on it and think that we have to do something. We have to do something each day. I'm just going to take you to the higher time frame just so you can see what we're doing now. You can see this hourly has rebalanced the last hour. We're coming into, what's this, right? This is profile developing this week. This red box, you can see we keep getting stuck up here, folks. Like, we have not lifted into these 90s yet. So we've rebalanced. So just be careful here, please. Be careful, right? We will have to flip this to do this move here. We haven't got above the lower time frame yet enough to do it. That would mean doing something like this to do that. We haven't seen it yet. So you better be paying yourself here as we come into lunch 10 minutes. You don't want to give this all back, right, on the dunk. Do not give it all back on the dunk, please. Be very, very careful. Remember, this is a runner. There is no guarantee. You've hit your main target, which is here, right? This is a runner. This is 20% of the trade if it goes for you. There you go. See, Rob nailing that, yeah? After 3 years of strategy bouncing for me, finally taking payouts consistently, big part was sticking to a system. Bingo, right? Bingo. Most people don't get enough data and don't trade one setup enough to validate whether it works for them. And also, you got to know your personality. Like, do you like playing flags? Do you like playing breakouts? Do you like playing range? I hate playing ranges, right? I hate it. I hate trading edges. I just feel uncomfortable doing it. All the time, I'm uncomfortable doing it. But some people love it, absolutely love it. And good for them, because most of the time, we're in a range. If I understand market conditions and everything, which course shall I get? Depends if you want Discord or not, I guess. If you're not bothered about the Discord and you just want to understand order flow, then just get the volume profile and order flow course. Passed my first eval today. Have learned so much here. Had learned a ton here. Thank you for your help. You're welcome, Control Supply Co. You're welcome. Welcome, welcome. We will do some more giveaways as we get towards the end. Please review the NQ tape again. What do you mean on Bookmap? Well, we're coming into, like, we're basing up here, but like I said, it can very easily come and flush. We've got lots of stops down here. You're coming into lunch. Do not give back this whole thing. That's what I'm saying. Make sure you've taken some profits. You are looking for this move, right? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for this move, but you're long from here, right? You do not want to let this happen. It can happen into lunch. They can absolutely come and swipe this and then come back for this later. So all I would say is if you're positioned at 60 or 80s, you look good, but I would not be letting this break down underneath and coming and giving all this back, right? You'd be very upset if you have not locked in here and it comes back down to here into lunchtime. Don't let that do it. It's very possible to do it, especially how it's built that liquidity right now. Very, very possible. We haven't really run anyone out. If they want to do this, they absolutely will do that. Okay. Out of the long, JJ, nice work. Well, it was a great long. So, you know, you probably got almost 150 points. Great. Like, who's moaning about 150 points? There's YouTubers giving you 5-point trades out there consistently. I trade mean reversions. No, definitely not. Only if it's a failed breakout would it be a mean reversion. If it was a continuation trade leaving balance, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a mean reversion. If we've got balance trapped, like weekly balance, like we had, like 4 weeks balance trapped, and we break out upside and hold above, it's not going to be a mean reversion. It's going to be expansion, right? Only time is a mean reversion is like today, when we go above balance, we create balance, we fail, and we get stuck at the top bowls, then yes, mean reversion. Same trade setup. It's a breakout or a failed breakout. It's a use of liquidity. We did one giveaway. We will do some more giveaways shortly. We're almost at lunchtime. I have a 50k Lucid account and I just bought a 50k Tradeify evaluation using your code. Thank you. And I was just wondering if once I pass the Tradeify evaluation, will I be able to copy trade them? Yes, you will. Absolutely will. What do you get from Discord? I can show you what you get from Discord if that helps you. The first thing you get is traders who are supporting each other, looking at the same setups like they've been doing all morning, calling stuff out. There you go. Look, all my traders making a ton of money in there this morning. right, while I'm on stream looking after each other. There you go. Absolutely crushing it all morning. All of these traders, fantastic. Love it. All right, and you get all the calls that I'm looking for in the afternoon. So this is still in the morning. So there's Ben taking the short, pre-market, right? They're all supporting each other. And even up here, these were the guys getting long. Yeah, getting long on the trap we talked about, I'm assuming. I think Nathan's gone now, but I think this was what we were looking for. Yes, this right here, this kind of play here for that trap long to go all the way back up. Which is what we talked about on stream yesterday. So you get any of the plays. See, that's me coming in the afternoon, telling them what I'd be looking at. And then what else do you get? Well, you get new student questions. We do reviews. We do every 2 weeks. We do private lessons all together. I say private, but it's everyone in stream. You get my swing investments. So everything that I'm looking at on the swings, what levels I'm looking to get entries on, what I'm looking for. And we did very, very well last year on the swings. And then you get Coop does a 2-week call every 2 weeks with everyone trading that way. And then you get lots of discounts, which we don't do on here, and giveaways as well, and a ton of other stuff. Right, but it comes for free when you do the 20-hour course. There's no monthly sub on it. Right, no monthly sub on that. Trump speaking, is he really? Well, that's good to know. I mean, I'm out. We're done now anyway, coming into lunch. The hard thing to realize is that one big runner basically guarantees your profitability as long as you keep risk in check, unless you get really unlucky. Yeah, I mean, look, if you took this here, any of these longs here, 60 and 80, right? And you got TP1, TP2, and you've locked in like 80%, all right? And even if you've just got one left, right? That one left can do another 100 plus points, right? If that's a micro, it's another $200. If that's a mini, that's another $2,000 per account, right, on the runner. And you've protected profits anyway, and you can move your stop up, right? So that's why trading in good locations is key. It's why I'm like, once I lose location, I'm so less interested in trading, because I want to minimize my risk, lock in, and then I'm playing with house money, all right? If my risk is here and I lock in and I move my stop up, all right, now I'm playing with house money. If that goes, it goes. Be like the one this morning. So you can see where I fluffed my lines on the second trade this morning because I'd lost position. So that was first trade this morning, all the way down. Second trade was the bounce short. So that was the first bounce since the drop. So if we think about how this looked, what we were talking about, you can rewind the tape. Here's the fade. We're looking to fade this. I wanted it up here ideally. They trapped themselves in here, so I play that short. If they get caught here, I cover. I cover too early. There's the continuation. That's my fault. All right, that's my fault. Bounce short, should have held for continuation. But this was a big demand level, remember, at the time. So I was very, very proactive. But the reason I'm more proactive on that than I am here is because I understand we now have structure. This can hold and do this if it wants. All right, so I've lost positioning. What I should have done was held some, added on, and left my core up here, and then I could have sat through that. And that's my fault. That needs a review. That's where I can still improve. But it's hard. When you've made 250 points on a trade, it's hard to convince yourself you're going to do another 500. I struggle with the early moves like this in the morning. Is that something that comes with experience? Yeah, just with experience. If you're newer, I would just avoid that opening. Just avoid it. There's such a rush of blood, and you'll feel like you have to do something. Be very careful about this dropping down now. You do not want to get stopped out here. It's very, very possible coming into lunch that they wash this out. Be very, very careful, please. Did you catch 600 point shorts today? I lost 1,600, only 400 left. I didn't catch 600, unfortunately. I caught this first trade. So we got 215 odd points out of that. I caught this second trade, which was what, like 30 points. I caught this, which was a 60 pointer. And then I caught this long, which was a 50 pointer. And then I missed this. I called it, but I went to the bathroom and it went without me. Any tips to get out of drawdown? Size right down, because you haven't got much size there left. Size right down and just work your way out of it slowly. You're going to have to be willing to dig your way out of it, which is a good skill to learn to possess. If you can dig your way out of drawdown, it will serve you well in the future. Where am I getting order flow data from? Well, all data is from CME. It's centralized exchange. But if you mean footprints, I have footprint on my Ninja. I have footprint here. And as you can see above my head on the screen, I have Bookmap as well. No, TP1, TP2 would mean taking a partial, right? So the way I would do it is that I have multiple contracts. The best way to do that to start with is micro. So let's say you enter, let's say you're on a 50K account, and can I draw this? There we go. And you enter 3 micros long here, all right? So you take 1 off there, you take 1 off there, all right? And now you're holding 1 for up here, right? So you've locked in profit. No matter what, you're going to make good money on this trade, and maybe you've moved your stop. You know, maybe your stops now moved to here as well. Joanna, I've purchased both courses. Nice. Looking forward to working with you. Before that long took off, how do you judge how long you need to wait while the liquidity builds? This long here. Well, you can see I had an attempt straight away. I saw he was trapped at 60 straight away. All right, so I did not wait long once I saw him trapped, and we got the relief instantly, and then I stopped out. I think I might have had another go in here and stopped out. I can't remember. I'll have to review it. But once we fail to break lower, you need to understand this. Once sellers fail to break us lower, think about if you're selling here, right, versus this, what's your target? It's this, right? If we think about structure, right, if the structure is this, right, the expectation is this here. That's your TP1. If you're smart, if you're a pullback trader, that's your TP1. If you're a breakout trader, you're shorting the lows. We don't short the lows, right? So once they fail to go lower, what does that mean? Well, no one has got their TP. That's how I see it. Also, by the way, at this point, ES had divergence. ES did this. So ES did it for you ICT people, and you would call that SMT. For anyone normal, it's called divergence. All right, so, and we knew 60s was the level where we had them trapped. 60s was the level where he was trapped here and here and here. 60s was his big order. We can pull that up for you guys. Right, 60s right here. You can see this big red outlying delta, huge seller here at 60. All right, so that was what I was looking at. I knew that was the pain point. So I used his pain point. Here, I used his pain point for the relief. And if I was here and didn't go to the toilet, I would have used his pain point again. And we said 80s was the pivot. All right, 80s we had imbalance, over 80s squeeze happens. And then you go target 1. And then you're looking left for the squeeze trigger. So if you were short in the hole, where would your stops be? You would have stops here and here. So guess what happens? We run that over, they become a market buyer, squeeze. They run that over, they become a market buyer, squeeze. Right, and now you're into TP. And now it's just how far can you go? Can you get the last lot of stops? Where are the last lot of stops to aim for? Right here. Think about all these stops. Right, if you were swing short up here, where is your stop? It's right here at 825. So if we lift up there, that's your last target for your long. Right, that's how the market moves. It hunts liquidity, then it creates liquidity when there's nothing left to hunt, and then it goes and hunts the other way. Right, so it hunts liquidity, it creates liquidity, then it uses liquidity to hunt more liquidity, it creates liquidity, then it uses this liquidity to hunt more liquidity, then it creates liquidity, then it's nothing else to search for down there, so it goes the other way. It hunts the liquidity, and then it will probably create some liquidity, and then it might come down into a range. Yeah? What's another way of doing that? What's another way of doing it? It it auctions lower, it finds an area of price acceptance for a bit, it leaves that and auctions lower, it finds acceptance, it leaves it at auctions lower, it finds acceptance. We're now too deep into discount, which is why I say don't short the lows. And now we're going to go back into fair value. Fair value on the day is right here. right? Point of control. This is fair value, so we're coming back to fair value. This is deep in discount, value area low. We're coming back to fair value. So any way you want to look at it, it's the same bloody thing. The market only moves in, does one thing really. So we're trying to trade up into here now. For those of you who are long, you can trim some into this shelf like we talked about, sort of 80s and 90s and VWAP. And if you get lucky, you will pop these stops up here. So guys, just catching up with everything you're asking, and then we'll do this giveaway. Sorry. How many monitors do I have? 4 big ones right now, and then 1 for your stream. Do you need Bookmap for success? No, you don't need anything, Mike. You just got to do what you do. Yeah, 4 big monitors. So here, vertical, vertical, horizontal, horizontal, and then a small screen there for the stream. I took a swing long from 25,500. You would keep it open for a couple of days or close it later in the day before market closes? All depends where we trade into. I would be taking some of your size off. If we can trade up into 8.7, like up into here, I would be trimming some because it's possible they put a lower high there. If they find acceptance over 920, then I think you will probably get 26,000. So if you're long, you said you're long 550s, I would be probably taking some off, or definitely move my stop break even for a start because you've lifted well away from that. So I'd make sure you're going to be in the money. I'd be trying to trade some into here. Look, just go to an hourly. Make this make sense for you. Right, you've just said you're swing long from here. Right, I like the level, makes sense, right? You need to find acceptance over this to get to here. This is the big level, all right? I'd be taking some partial into there if you're swing. If you find acceptance over that, you're going to trade into here. I would be taking most of my position off into that because we now have trapped people up here. The expectation is here or here will probably fail, right? If you got very lucky and you kept like 5% on a swing and we did this for next week, then you might get all-time highs. But my expectation now would be like probably drift into here and sell, or here and sell. Definitely one of these will offer the pullback and then have to see if they rebuy this for that move or not. But yeah, for me, like I always talk about, hourly is what I call like God for decision making, right? God for decision making on charts. Joanna, you purchased the course. Can you get access here? Just go to the end of the course, the 20-hour course. There's like a module on how to get Discord. Just go through that and tell you what to do, and I'll sort you out. Base my setups on liquidity builds. Everything I do is based on liquidity. Market only moves based on liquidity. What time frame is this chart? This is a 1 minute chart that you're currently looking at. A 1 minute chart. How do you get access to Bookmap? You have to go on their website and pay for it. Can we trust footprint chart from TradingView? I feel like data is wacky. I actually quite like it. I mean, I don't execute on it, but I think it's pretty good. I actually think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You can see at the moment, you're seeing some buyers caught up in these highs. All right, so we're filling in these imbalances. I think it's pretty good. Again, you can get my settings for free on YouTube. I posted last week. Do you use indicator with bubbles to see order flow? Yes, Bookmap it's called. I haven't seen one yet, Dylan. No, I haven't seen one. I have looked. There was one I was looking at, but it didn't look as nice. I'm trying to remember what it was called. There are some paid ones, but I don't think they're as good as the one on Ninja. After your Bollinger Band video I watched yesterday, buyers seem to be defending the 20 SMA, it would be 20 SMA on a Bollinger Band. if we're building a bear flag for spring on Wyckoff distribution for a seasonal March hunt. It's possible. It is very, very possible, Fernando. We've gone from top bowl to mean. If we build out here and we fail and we go expansion under bottom bowl, it's very possible that it gets nasty, but far too early to say right now. What inches are the vertical monitors? I don't actually know. How can I find that out? I think they're probably like 34 or something like that. Then I've got a wide screen in front of me. I don't know how to see. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they're widescreen verticals. Maybe 34 inch, I would guess. All right, let's do a absolute beginner giveaway. Okay, type course now into chat, and we'll do a giveaway of the absolute beginner course. All right, not the 20-hour one, it's just a 2-hour one. It's just a 2-hour course. It's for an absolute beginner. If you already know how to trade, you can give it to someone else. Give you guys a couple minutes to do that. You're almost there, guys. You are almost into this final TP. So I'll just move your stop up with it because you're getting quite grindy here into lunch. Volume's going to dissipate greatly. Almost there into VWAP and the final target into these stops, guys. Into these stops if you get lucky. If you get lucky. Nice. I'm just catching up with Discord. Really nice, Scotty. That long. Great work, bud. Great work. What a beauty. What a beauty. Right, you're almost there, guys. You're going to get a 250 pointer. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Okay, pulling the winner here. Putting this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. D. Carson Davis. Congratulations. Guys, move your stop up. You're starting to extend into this block now. All right, so hopefully you squeeze through into these stops, but move your stop up. Be protective. D. Carson Davis, are you here? Let me know you're here. What a trade, guys. I'm absolutely devastated I've missed this by going to the bathroom, but there you go. There's an absolute banger for you guys. What a banger. All right, nice. D. Carson Davis. All you need to do, email me info@flowzonetrader.com and I will sort you out with a beginner course, all right? info@flowzonetrader.com. Here you go, guys. Here you go. Keep moving this stop up. Here's point of control. This is fair value. I would like to see you run these stops at 825, but you are getting very aggressive here on the squeeze. This is everything we wanted to see. Oh, my God. How has it done it the moment I go to the bathroom? How close would I trail stops? I'd certainly move it up to the 50s, if not into this shelf here at 87s at this point, because you're basically there. I'd probably protect somewhere around here. All right, because who cares if you don't make an extra, 10, 20 points, but you'll be very upset if you give back 50. So I'd probably be moving my stop to this shelf here at around 88, 90. All right, I'd want it to protect here. You're very, very close. I think these will get run. Right, I think these will get run, but it's possible it does this before doing it, and you will not want to give that back, right? You will not want to give back 50 odd points, will you, on your runner? To have access to order flow, do I need a funded account? No, you don't. You don't. There's a video that I've done on it on YouTube. It's for free. If you're trading with most prop firms, with Tradeify, you get order flow for free. This is current session. Order flow on the right is current session. Volume profile on the right is current session. Here you go, guys. You're very, very close. It's going to come now. Here you go. They're lifting. They're lifting. They're lifting. Keep moving that stop up with it. Hopefully, you hit the top of this. These stops. We're looking for this. Remember, this is your target for this runner. This is your target for the runner. You're very close to doing it. ES, by the way, has just done it. It has just wicked them out. So ES has done the move into its mean, into the 20-day SMA again. That's it. That's it, Stephen. If you stay here, I will give you big winners. You've just got to be willing to sit through all the bollocks and not flip onto top shit TV. I'm so mean. Shouldn't say that. Top shit TV, where you should just fade everything that they do. Past 2 more Apex evals. Is that nice work? Nice work. Anchored volume, guys. This is anchored on the right. We're going to have to get a section out, aren't we? Because lots of new people are coming and asking me the same question. Anchored volume profile to the 9:30 open. You have an 80% win rate since watching me. That's pretty good going. Green on the day. Thanks, Alex. Nice work. Nice work, everyone. Right, you don't want this to flush under here, guys. You do not want this to flush under here. Like, I would have locked in there. You don't be a dick. For what do we hit there? A high of 16. We were looking for 26s. You were 10 points away. Don't let this flush you out 60, 70 points, right? Just move your stop up, lock it in. Who cares about that extra 10 points if you don't get it? Do not let this collapse on thin volume all the way back down, right? We did really well there. You should have locked in, and hopefully you'll still get it. But that's 230 points, and we are looking for 240 points. There's an extra 10 points here if they keep holding this shelf. At the moment, they're still holding that shelf at 90. Look, they're still holding the shelf at 90. So hopefully you get it. I love that, Grey Kitty. I watched Top Step for a year, no payout. Watched you for a week, first payout. There you go. You're new to trading. What should you learn first? I'd say learn structure first. In fact, go on my website, and there's a free course in there. You can sign up. There's your first lesson, completely free. Then go on my YouTube and do everything for free there. There's literally a section on my YouTube called like, I think it's called like beginners trading or something like that. There's like a whole part of my YouTube for that. Just go there. All right. There's like, I'm telling you, there's a lot of edge just in that alone. That's not me blowing myself. That's me just being honest with you. Like, you can just go there. What's it called? Trading strategy and education for beginners. All right. There is a ton in there for free. Start there. Start there. If you're brand new. Nice work, everyone. All you guys locking in. I'm just waiting to see if we can just pop these stops here, and then I'm going to call it a day and get out of here. As you take partials, do you move your stop loss up? Yes, absolutely. if you are long here, you don't want to leave your stop loss there, do you? So TP1, TP2, my stop now would be right under this, somewhere under this. I'd want it to protect this volume because my last target is up here. Like, you could hold a tiny piece in case we go ballistic on the day, but like really, you want it all, most of it out into here. You would not expect, basically, once we run these stops, there might be a little spike. It's possible that if all these shorts get stopped out, you get a little swipe up, but you want to be selling into that, right? You want to be selling into that. This is the counter trend. Remember, here's your leg down. This is the counter trend. This is probably going to get sold into and come back down into this range. All right. So if you need to be taking profit into this drive, if you get long up here, you are asking to get absolutely murdered, right? Absolutely murdered. I watch your EMA videos and you suggested a range of 35 to 50, but you don't seem to use it any. Or was that replaced with 21 to 34? They're all in here. It's the same. It's the same stuff. I might have like tweaked it slightly, but I don't think so. Like 45. Like I might change 50 to 45, but like I still use a 50 on the day, on a daily. What's my Discord? It's just for members who've done the beginner to advanced course. It's free for members who've done beginner to advanced. Are we shorting from the top of fair value zones? Well, you could argue, all right, if they poke through here, trap buyers, come back underneath, there might be a short back down. But I'd say the easy money's gone. Priska, 3K payout. Thanks so much, Alex. Nice work, Priska. Love it. Love it. Nice work, Priska. Here we go. Here we go. Stop's going to get popped. Right. Once they pop these stops, there should be a spike. Please lock in your profits in that spike. When it pops through, please lock in the profits on this spike. Anywhere through 26s is what we're looking for. There should be a spike through that. Please lock in like 90% of your profits through that spike and be done with it and be happy. If you want to hold a little bit in case we go higher, great. But here we go. Trading into 26s here. Very, very close. This is the level. Tap, 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 tap. We should do it. We should lift through it. And then you should be very, very happy, people. All right. You've basically hit it here. We're just looking for this like last little spike through 26s to try and line this up right here. That's a 242-point trade I just gave you. Here we go. 3, 2, come on, spike it. 3, if I count it down, will it do it? Literally tapped it. Tapped it to the tick. 26 to the tick. Don't be a dick for a tick, remember. I would like to see them just run through it, one little spike, and then be done. One little spike. And this is where their stops are. We just want one little poke through. And they're trying again. One little poke through. But just be done with it. If you don't want to sit through this bullshit while they do it, just be done with it. It's a mega trade. And I don't want any nonsense of people saying when to enter, when to this, when to that. Shush. I told you when to enter, and I went to the toilet and I missed it. Imagine that. I have to sit through watching you all make 240 points while I had a pee. None of that. I don't want any of that shit. God damn it. Man's got a pee, you know. What a cruel market. What a cruel market. I am cursed by the tweet. You're so right. Every time I go to the fucking bathroom, the thing absolutely rips. And it's always after I've had like 1 or 2 attempts and I'm like, right, I'll have a pee, I'll come back fresh-minded and go again. And then it's already fucking done it. All right, right into towards this value area high. You can see they're all front-running it. I would imagine we will pop these, but ES has already popped it. It's one thing to be aware of. ES has already popped it. And VIX trading block to block right now. Right into my key levels, block to block. Here you go. Here we go. There you go. Boom. You should be done. Be very happy. There's the spike. There's the stops getting run. You are done for the day. That is a 250 plus pointer. If you got very lucky, it would lift all the way up, but you should be done. At the very least, you can move your stop right up here now to make sure you protect all those profits on here. Thank you very much. Name another trader who's giving you, we have nailed over 500 points live on stream today, both sides. I would love to know someone else who has done that and given it to you for free ahead of time with explanation. Answers on a postcard, I'll take it. All right. George, if you've done the beginner to advanced course, George, if you've paid for the beginner to advanced course, if you scroll to the end of that course, it will be there. All right. It will be there. The Discord will be there for you if you've done it. You'll have to send an email to what it says to do, and you will be granted access. So if you get very lucky now, you get all the way up here. Absolutely incredible. I cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. How do I spot absorption? I think we went over that earlier. Is that what you use in the trucker, Scott? Oh, I love it. Are you still long ES, Scott? Or are you out now? Because that I saw you posted in Discord. That's a great trade. Great trade, mate. Great trade. What a monster day. What a monster day. All right, guys. I'm going to have to get out of here, take myself to the gym. What would my expectations for the rest of the day be? I'd be very careful now. All right, we've been in a huge sell. All right, this is a pullback leg to that huge sell. I would imagine we will get a continuation. Let's just measure New York out. We go IB high to low of day. This is printing back to the 50%. This is why you do not want to be long anymore. I would imagine that we will now start to create a range down here, unless they're going to go risk on into Apple earnings, which I cannot imagine they're going to really push. But I'd imagine there'll probably be some failed look above somewhere in here at some point, and they'll probably do a little dunk back down into here, and then you probably get a build out in here for the day. So I doubt there's going to be too much to play for in the afternoon, unless you want to play these rotations. I mean, there's plenty of room. The rotations are 200 plus points. But seeing as we have absolutely obliterated it, I don't think there's much reason to hang around. Do you guys? I don't think so. What is my Discord? Guys, okay, I'm going to say this one last time. All right, Discord is only for people that do the beginner to advanced course. All right, so that's not me trying to gatekeep you, but if you go to Flow Zone Trader, I'll just show you now, because lots of you are newer who keep turning up each day, which is fantastic. It's great to have new people on stream. If you go to the beginner to advanced course, all right, so you come to my website, it will look a little something like this. All right, trading course. You can see everything in the trading course here if you want to look at it. If you buy it, should be $6.99. If they haven't put it up, look, you still got $50 up. I'm going to have to absolutely bollock my guy. So it's $6.49. For that, it's 20 hours. There's 20 hours in here and a version of the flow zones for free and Discord all included in that one price. If you want to upgrade with the volume and order flow, all right, if you want to put the volume and order flow course as well, you will get like $100 off that, all right, because that is $4.99. If you just want the volume or order flow, you'll have to go over here. We'll show you everything in it here. And this is well over 6 hours. And I think this is $3.99. There you go, $3.99. All right, but there's no Discord in volume and order flow. It's only in the trading course. This course here, this is everything in here. Okay, you can see everything in here. Am I going to be on tomorrow? Yeah, every day, guys. Monday to Friday. Every day. Monday to Friday, 9:15 all the way into lunch, right? 9:15 all the way into lunch. That's it. Every day I will be here unless I've got some personal stuff going on. And we will do scam. Yeah, it's a scam, Ryan. What a scam. It's an absolute scam. Absolute scam. He doesn't know what he's doing. Literally pay for it tenfold in what I've given you today anyway. All right. But like I say, do everything for free on YouTube. All right. Big love, everyone. And we will be back tomorrow, closing out the week on a Friday. We've had a fantastic week. Let's see where we close the day out. For those who are going to trade the afternoon session, I want to warn you, all right? It is Apple earnings into close. The last hour will start to get wonky. You saw what they did yesterday. The trap, we talked about the trap that they set yesterday, right, into FOMC. They didn't use the trap. They waited for earnings, right? Here's the trap. Wash, shorts trapped, pump, all right? This is the type of move they can do in earnings. Why? Because the tape's thin, all right? The tape becomes thin, and tonight we're going to become a one-stock tape. So just be careful. You've got big Mag 7 earnings in a day where we have big range, right? Do not be surprised to see some fucking nasty moves, right? Maybe not that high, but like some nasty moves as we get into close and on earnings, right? So please be careful. You do not need to overstay your welcome, all right? You lock in, be happy, get off, go and do stuff that makes you happy off the screens. This is just a job. That's all this is. It's a job. Don't make it bigger than it is. Last 2 things here while I read through. Discord and the weekly newsletter are worth their weight in gold. Yeah, newsletter's free, by the way. Links are down below. Thanks, Alex. Can't say enough. I'm sure speak for most. What you come here and do every day is changing lives. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. 75 away from passing Apex. Congratulations. Just take your time. Don't force it now because you're going to now know that you're very close. Don't force it. All right. Just one trade at a time. One trade at a time. All right, everyone. Big love. If you want to support the stream, all the links, as always, are down below. Code FCT for all your favorite prop firms. Other than Take Profit Trader, you can use code FlowZone. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Trade safe, use hard stops, all that good stuff. Be kind, be humble, be patient. Peace and love.